All right, guys, I think we're going live. Let's see if everyone's joining right about now. All right, I think we're going. Let's see if people could join in. I'm just going to stall a little bit. All right, guys, let's see. All right, chat room's going, I think. Hey, guys, let me know in the chat room if you can hear me. I'm trying out some new software today, so hopefully it's working okay. All right, guys, can you hear me okay? Let me know in the chat. Loud and clear. Okay, here we go. All right, guys, I think it's safe to take this off now. Okay. All right, guys, greeting. This is TUP Talks number 5. We have a really cool episode for you this morning, Saturday morning. That looks okay. Cool. Chat room's going. We have a lot of really cool special guests on this particular episode. We have Dropforge Survival. We have Budget Bug Out. We have Prepper Agenda, and we have Mike from VanQuest. So we're going to be talking with all of them. I'm trying out some new software on this time for the stream, which would be pretty cool. I can't hear you is what they're saying. I can hear you. Classic Wonder Woman. So we have Ohio Preppers talking about, yes, okay, cool. Classic Wonder Woman poster. You can see with the cool new software that I have, I could actually show the chat stuff that's going on in the chat room. So let me kind of switch it over here. There's the chat room. Let me minimize it like that. Albert was talking about the homemade bandana mask looking good. Yeah. Budget Bug Out, who's going to be a guest for this episode, did a really cool video on that, like a 1-minute video that showed how to do it. Mine has one of the blue shop towels in it, cut off in there for extra filtration. Sound is great. It's from Ohio Preparedness. Okay, that's good. What do we have over here? Use code Lazar and Fortnite. Okay. Can hear you loud and clear from Brian. That's sweet. All right, so I think let's just get right into it. So I'm going to bring in our first guest right now. This is awesome. I'm really excited for this particular guest. I've been a big fan of him. We collaborated last summer on our 90-day fitness challenge where we're trying to get a little bit better shape. He did a really good job on it, and I did an okay job on it, and then I had to have a surgery, and then I did not as good of a job, but I was in recovery mode. But for our first guest let's see, let me get rid of this. Our first guest for today is none other than Dropforge Survival. Let's add him into the broadcast. Hey, man, can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, man. How's it going?
Good. It's working. So we've
That's awesome.
we've done a couple trial runs to make sure that it works, and we tried it with one software. It was working okay, and then we're trying it with the new software. I think it's even better now. So how are things going?
That's awesome. Oh, it's going great, man. I mean, given the fact that we're all stuck at home.
Yeah.
But I would say overall it's doing pretty good. We've had to make obviously some modifications to our channel, like with video releases as far as that goes.
Yeah.
I haven't made an announcement on my channel to my fans or anything, but we usually do like 2 videos a week, and now we're gonna dump it down to 1 just to make sure that we just don't run out of content, as it were, because there's only so much I can get away with from within inside of my house when I can't go out and do most of the things I'm used to doing all the time.
Yeah, so you're over in San Antonio, and you were mentioning that they're pretty strict on the shelter-in-place orders that's going on in there. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, like within the city, not really. I mean, it's pretty relaxed, but so many stores are closed. It's keeping people home anyway. And obviously, places like Costco, Sam's Club, Walmart are the only places that are open. However, they're getting very restrictive on some of the things that they're doing, in the fact that obviously making people stand in lines. There's they're starting to put like these security gates in front of certain Walmarts. They're making installations, I guess, in the more high risk ones. But traveling outside the city has become very, very hard to do, obviously, because they don't want anybody traveling. And with us living in kind of like a high government, high military area, I mean, they call it Military City USA for a reason. There's a lot of things they're doing to kind of keep people inside the county as much as possible, for sure. Yeah, they're being really restrictive on that, for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, if I could get 2 videos out a week, I'm doing pretty good. But for you,
Right?
yeah, so it's just tough as is for me. But yeah, you're constantly cranking out new content, and
Mm-hmm.
it's going bigger. It's always real big as far as the stuff that you do, and it's always awesome to see. And
Thanks, man.
it's inspiring for me. It makes me want to do better myself to try to catch up a little bit. But yeah,
Yeah.
so. Yeah, so I thought we have a couple little notes that we talked about. What do we want to talk
Right,
about
right,
on
right.
this one? I think we should start off with the cool backdrop that you have there. There's all sorts of
Oh, right
you
on.
have
Okay.
this area with all the shelf. It's like a prepper's paradise back there with I
Yeah.
see all sorts of goodies. I feel like we should be playing I Spy, and
Right.
you have fire extinguisher. You have all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, so that's kind of the organized section of the back wall that I'm allowing people to see, because it's functional chaos everywhere else.
Yeah,
Um, but no, yeah, there's just some stuff. There's like survival food tablets, fire starting. We have obviously my fire extinguisher. But yeah, believe it or not, a lot of people will keep like in every room in their home they'll have a smoke detectors or carbon monoxide detectors, and they'll
hmm
have maybe, depending on the size of the home, 1 or 2 fire extinguishers. But just in this room, and Cliff knows how small my apartment is. He's actually seen it. There's 3 fire extinguishers right here that I can get within 10 feet.
yeah,
I have one in every room in my home. And it's just because it's just like if you have a home invasion, a fire's a home invasion. It's a very
yep,
deadly one too if you're not careful. You never. I don't want. Oh, I have to go all the way through my bathroom, down the hallway, through the living room to go to the garage to go get my fire extinguisher. That's ridiculous in my opinion. I'm like,
yeah,
they're $20. Buy a few of them and just keep them in your house. And it's not. And people are like, well, you're paranoid. Like, that has nothing to do with it, man. It's like, what happens if I'm taking a shower and my kids are cooking, and then all of a sudden, boom, they let a fire get out of control. They're panicking because they see flames. I can teach them all I want, but they're humans and mistakes can be made. So I want to be able to have fire blankets and all those other things ready to go. So, and if all else fails, we have 2 ladders so we can get down from our
yeah.
second-story apartment and get out of there multiple
What
ways
brand
too. So.
ladders? What do you have? Like the emergency escape ladders, or is that built into the place that you live at?
No, no, no. Yeah, they're the emergency escape ones. One's on the balcony and one's on my shelf in my bedroom. So we have 2 different window exits.
Yeah, I was curious
But
what brand did you pick? Because I know
uh,
Kid makes one and First
Kitty,
Alert. Yeah,
Kid or
Kid.
Kitty. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's the one that can hold like 1,000 pounds, something like that. So if I gotta
yeah.
have more than one person on the ladder at a time, it'll hold. Yeah.
Very cool. Let's maybe we could do a couple little stuff in the comment section. Let's see. Guys, put your questions in for Drop Forge Survival. If you have any questions, we'll try to answer it. Let's see in English. Blah, blah, blah. People are see them talking about the wire shelves and stuff. Let's see.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. A lot of people think that they think some of the prepper channels, might be just talking, and I'm like, no, I live this stuff every day. Like, I don't have, between my channel and prepping and everything, I don't have furniture in my house. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah. When you have a fire in your house, definitely 100% seconds
yeah.
matter,
That's
and that's
from
why.
Ohio Preparedness. Yeah,
Yeah, I have a huge fire extinguisher inside the bathroom, because the last thing I want to find out is I'm, in the raw, and I come out and find out I'm in an emergency. The best thing I might have a chance to do is grab a fiberglass blanket that's going to hurt like a mofo, because I'm going to be bare skinned and exposed, and I have a fire extinguisher to make a path and get out
yeah.
my window, or get out the path, get out as fast as I can, because I won't have time to think. It'll be very awkward, but I'd rather it be awkward than dead.
Yeah, I
So.
mean, the fire extinguishers is kind of like for your home. If like for us, we carry our EDC for your home EDC is
Mhm.
probably like a fire extinguisher, and maybe the gas
Yeah.
shutoff valve. That's like it's just
Mhm.
on a bigger scale.
Yeah, I was like, we have 6 in the house, so we have 2 ladders, and we have 4 fire blankets, one for every person in the house.
Yeah,
So yeah.
Yeah, we have Paxter on the thing, and I promised that I was going to wear the Paxter jacket, although it's getting pretty hot. But I'm going to wear it for now. I'm working on the review for this one, but it's taking a little bit, especially with everything going on with Corona. But let's see.
Yeah,
Maybe we can. Yeah, sorry.
No, I think I actually want to talk about that if you guys are okay, since it's current event. If you guys are open to it.
Yeah, let's do it.
There are a lot of things flowing back and forth in the internet, right?
Yeah.
People are going, well, it's only it's only the flu. Some people think it's the end of the world. The government's hiding everything you could possibly imagine that's on the internet, from government conspiracies all the way to I want to go live my life and go back to the beach and sip on actual Corona is out there. Everyone, but I was looking at some of the things. I started looking back at the Spanish flu with some of the things I started implementing. It's the closest thing that we have on record that I can really look at that showed where I guess draconian measures were taken. And I've seen so many videos like they're taking away our freedoms and locking us in our homes. I'm like, I can still walk outside my door right now. There's not a police officer that's telling me that I can't leave my apartment complex, and if I go back inside, I'm going to get arrested. They did that during the Spanish flu, though. They actually did that. In San Francisco, one of the reported things is if you weren't wearing a mask in public of some type, you could be fined. Now, it was $5 back then, which is about $100, $200 now. It's like a speeding ticket. Or you could be arrested if you were like being belligerent, like, I'm not wearing a mask or whatever. And I'm like, that was during a freedom-loving, super, libertarian era where we still had more freedoms apparently.
Yeah, I know that people are really leery about if they feel that they're going to lose some of their liberty because they feel like it won't come back. So I know that people are pretty.
I understand that 100% too. I get it. I feel where they're at. Otherwise, I wouldn't be a prepper to a certain extent.
We have a question from American Prepper. What would be the first thing you would tell a new prepper to do? Lots of newbies thanks to COVID.
Right. Ooh, that's a good one. Well, I would say as far as if you're going to start doing research, whether you get on blogs, websites, or YouTube channels, regardless of where you start and go, start trying to look up playlists and like Prepping 101 of Prepping for Beginners. We have a few videos, obviously, like 25 items every prepper should stockpile, those kind of videos, and start figuring out what I would tell people is with your day-to-day life of your procurement of food, with your procurement of water, finances, all those things, medication, everything you could possibly need in your day-to-day life, from the mundane all the way to the extreme, is start making lists on how to solve those problems if you can't do it the way you're used to. If you can't just turn on the faucet and get water, how do you get water where you're at? If you can't just go get food, are you going to go hunting? Are you going to go trapping? Are you going to have a garden? Are you going to have a windowsill? Like, what are you going to do? Or if you live in a city and all you can do is get freeze-dried food and MREs and stuff, like, you have to start thinking about how to solve those. Be solution-driven ahead of time. Like, try to figure out how to solve those problems. And me and Cliff were talking a couple days ago privately while we were testing all this software out, and it's really kind of been enlightening on our preparedness evaluation of what we thought we needed and what we actually are needing. And yes, it could 100%. How do you say it? It could easily be worse or different, but I'm noticing a lot of our things are correct. Like, we're about, I would say, 75% on target, 100%. But there are so many things that I'm like, whoa, I was off. Like, wow, this could be weird. Yeah. And there was things that I had to adjust and go to the store and pick up, honestly, because there was holes and gaps in my preps. Obviously, I'm not perfect.
Yeah, I've been slow. I've been having I think it's really important right now to take some notes as we're like going through this right now with and kind of starting to leverage. I mean, us preppers, we've been prepping for this kind of thing for years now. So a lot of what we're doing now, it should just be a little fine tuning, and it shouldn't be like we're not the people that are going out and the panic buying. I don't think, for the most part, we've been slowly siphoning and stuff from the system over, through multiple years. But I am taking active notes on the stuff. I wish I would have done this slightly different, or this, or sometimes you do have large gaps in it too.
Yeah, there was so while you're looking through the comment section, something that, like I said, I'm going to keep going back to the Spanish flu because that's where I'm going to get a lot of my data. Yeah. You use facts and data and the stuff that you talk about? What? I try, yeah, I do.
What
I
is
don't.
this?
I don't want to
Some-
PDF. I don't want to PDF everything because that's Urban Prepper's thing. But
right.
but no. So with they were, with the millions of Americans that people around the world that died, and the hundreds of millions of people that were infected. There's a lot of things that contributed to that, obviously, because we actually know that it was a different strand of H1N1, which is something we dealt with back in 2009.
Mhm.
And they, like I said, they imposed a lot of draconian measures, and they did a lot of things to hide things from the public because they were trying to keep morale up because the war, World War One was just ending. However, all those really tired, stressed out, malnourished, and injured soldiers all over the world were coming back home, and they were the perfect petri dishes.
Yeah.
And that thing took over. It went crazy. And I think the thing that the government is more worried about, and I'm not taking the government side, I'm going to get a lot of weird things in the comments, but it's one of those situations, I think, where it's not the fact that the coronavirus standalone as it is such this monument that we can't overcome it. It's the fact that yes, there's the potential for it to become a monumental issue if we just blow it off and act like it's no big deal. But it's
Yeah.
the fact that people still have heart disease, people still get the flu, people still get pneumonia, people still have cancer, people still have all these problems. And if we have millions upon millions of cases flooding the hospital systems everywhere, it could, what I'm assuming is it's going to be that the coronavirus is the one thing that could be the straw that actually breaks the camel's back, because that's what ends up overwhelming the system. And if that happens, how many people will die because they can't get treated for their broken leg in a car accident? I
Yeah.
mean, what, we get 3,000 people a year die from car accidents? What happened if those people just in Texas can't get treated
Yeah.
because the hospitals are full? And I understand it to a point. And until I see SWAT teams coming down to my apartment complex, not letting anybody leave, I think some people might be overreacting a little bit, but I also understand their fear if they are a prepper, and I get where some of the anxiety and stress comes from. I mean, we're looking at what seven. They said by Tuesday they're estimating we're going to be anywhere between 20 to 22 million people officially in America have filed for unemployment. It's a massive number because right now we're at 17 million. I mean, that's an absolutely crazy number to think about, and that's to not steal the show all the way is that's what I'm actually the most worried about, I would say long term, because for the Spanish flu again, it was January 1918 until December 2020, almost 3 years. 2 years 11 months. What happens if even if we deal with that half as long and we crush it with all the different waves that come in from the coronavirus, and people get lax, people get reinfected, and we have all these waves of infections. And I mean, right now we're already at like what 20,000 people in America died from the coronavirus, according to what the numbers we're allowed to see and we know about. We're already at almost influenza levels in the United States already, and there's only 500,000 confirmed cases. Like it's one of those things where it's a little bit those things are concerning, and I'm worried about it. But I think if people, long as people start wearing masks, they do social distancing, they can start making the homemade hand sanitizers, whether they can start making these little homemade masks and sticking in N95 filter inserts, which we're going to be talking about on our channel, and hopefully Cliff will be able, I'll give him the link once I get that stuff done. I think we can start staggering and bringing people back to work and doing certain things and reopening the economy to get people kind of a sense of normalcy, but under no circumstances over the next 6 months to a year. So I think people should stop wearing this until we get a good grasp on vaccinations and getting things kind of, ready to go.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
like in our country, for whenever I've traveled to Asia a few times, and it's very culturally acceptable to have like these various N95 masks, or just to wear a mask. And in the U.S., it always was a little weird if you saw someone walking around with a mask. But I think now, after let's say this is all said and done, I don't think it's going to be quite as weird to see people just in masks, whether it be one of the cotton style ones. The cotton ones don't really protect. There's been a lot of really cool videos on making these no-sew method ones, although they it's pretty porous material, so like I think it protects maybe about 20% or something like that. So on mine, I put it the blue shop towel is what I use on the inside of them, but I think that's because they've done some testing on that by some companies. Let's see, do we have a lot of cool stuff going on in the comment section? Then we could go. I have a couple other topics that we're going to go over. So let's see.
Sure.
I see that full spectrum survivals here. That's pretty cool. Let's see.
And he's 100% correct. With 100,000 of the over 100,000 people that we've seen pass away and succumb to the coronavirus that we know of, and we're not even at 2 million cases worldwide that we know about. Like I was saying, we can only go off the numbers that I see on a chart. That's over right now. People can talk in conspiracy. Well, there's millions of people that we don't know about. The death rate's lower. But here's the thing, guys. With what we number, the numbers we have, we're at what 6.5% death rate overall. Like it or not, I know there could be some weird things about the disproportional old and super young and certain immunocompromised. But at the end of the day, those are still people, and they still had lives and feelings and family, and they still died.
Yeah, it's a shame that for the past, I try not to do politics stuff or any religious stuff on the channel, but just because I figure people get a lot of it already as is. But it's a shame that for the past multiple years now, there's a pretty strong distrust in like what we're hearing through the media, and it's hard. And I think now during a real crisis situation where we want to have a place that we could trust in the news and everything, it's like people are still pretty leery about that because you hear stuff about. I saw a meme of person forgets parachute when parachuting or something and dies of coronavirus or something. So I know people are a little worried about how the numbers are, how they're getting all their metrics and everything like that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see what full spectrum survival has. We have to remember that Spain usually has 500 to 800 deaths per year from flu. They just passed 10,000 in a few weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It was it's definitely, obviously from what we can tell now, it's at a point where it's definitely not the flu. It's definitely different. It's just one of those things where, we have 30,000 people die every year from the influenza, but it's one of those things that we already have 20,000 people dead in America from the coronavirus, but we only have 500,000 cases. Like, that ratio is pretty wild, and we've just gotten into it. Like, realistically, I think this is something we're going to have to ebb and flow at least a year and a half. Like, it's not just going to go away right now. And then after that, how are we going to, I think for maybe 6 months to 2 years, estimating, because I don't know, I think the government will kind of forcibly make the economy kind of work to get people back and kind of boost that confidence. But I'm worried about what happens in the middle of that or right after that as far as economic collapses go, because with that many people out of work, there's this that has me nervous.
We have out there Monty, I think. Why should you actually quarantine the vulnerable and normal life goes on as normal?
Update your preps. Yeah, when the first lockdown ends, relax.
That's Afraid of the Dark. That's a pretty cool avatar too. Let's see. We had some other questions that we were going to go through. Let's see. We talked a little bit about the channel stuff. We were also going to talk a little bit about some masks in general, like the DIY masks and
Yep.
So some of the pre-ordering and the giveaway stuff. You want to go into that right now?
Yeah. Cool. Absolutely. So I'm still in talks with a few companies, and I had a delay from a UPS shipment. Otherwise, I would have shown it off in this video, kind of a precursor to an episode I'm working on. But we are about to see, just from two companies that I know of, thousands and thousands and thousands of masks and filter material becoming available. Just for two companies. I know there's dozens more that I know about personally that I have relationships with. I talk to them on social media, like Recycled Firefighter, Super SC Straps, Parcel Distribution. There's so many companies out there that are building DIY like masks that look a little bit more nice than this. They're selling them for like $10, and you can insert shop towels, coffee filters. Coffee filters suck, guys. Let's be real. It's 20 microns. It's horrible. Don't do that. If you're gonna do anything, use those really wide cosmetic sponges. I think, in my opinion, they have these big wide oval ones that you could stick in there and layer them up. You can still breathe through them, but as far as letting stuff out, it kind of thickens it up a little bit. But I'm not whatever. But there is going to be N95 material going to be made available from two manufacturers that I know of, and I'm trying to get a hard line on if they want to, so I can show off a small little square sheet sample and at least make a mask or two just to show it off. But it's going to be good for the no-sew inserts, bandanas. It doesn't matter. You'll be able to get this material and make this mask, slip it in, wear it, take this off, throw that mask filter, that mask material away, and then go wash this and keep reusing them. So it's going to be, there's a lot of cool things happening. And then what is it? The U.S. government just ordered 168 million N95 respirators for the public sector and frontline workers from 3M exclusively. So I think, like I said, I think we can reopen the economy and get people back to work and get people closer to normal, but not until we get to the point. But not until we have PPE or enough people have access to it, so we can get those 17 to 20 million Americans back working. And if they can't get to normal jobs because certain things need to stay closed, there's going to be essential jobs that are going to need to be filled too. Like, there's going to be places for them to go, I think.
Yeah, I think when this is all said and done, I think a lot of people, I mean, we have our EDC bags and our kits and things.
Mm-hmm.
I think most people are probably going to start carrying these N95s in their bags, the flat fold ones, or some kind of, the cotton one's probably not as efficient, but some kind of style like that. I have the Respir one. I think it's just going to be a common item that people will have now. So which I think is a good thing. I guess a silver lining in all of this. Let's see. We had let's see. There's a good question in there from Albert Pena. So he had what will be the next prep item that is hard to find? So we've had toilet paper. We have PPE items. Mm-hmm. What do you think would be the next hard one to find, or do you have?
Yeah. So I mean, allow myself to think out loud and assume that I know what I'm doing. No, I'm kidding. So PPE, obviously, that was actually the first to go. A lot of people don't know that. That was the first to go before everything else, because I think between overseas companies like China who were buying up a lot of the stock, there were people jumping into Lowe's and Home Depots and just taking them. I actually think our government and we're getting it ready to buy stockpiles of it. But before we got to 10,000 cases, it became very difficult to find PPE, like masks. It really was. Now you can still find PPE around, like even at Lowe's and Home Depot right now. There's a lot of PPE I can still find. Masks is still the hard one. That's the hard one. That's the one that really counts, right? But then hand sanitizer was the first to go, and then now it became a run on things like isopropyl alcohol became hard. Hydrogen peroxide can be weird in flow. Alcohol prep pads. People were just buying anything they could to get all these protective measures so they can clean their house. But I would say the next thing that people would have a hard time getting, obviously gasoline would not be one of them in my opinion, because where are you going? Where are you going? You're not going anywhere. I think you should have maybe a full tank of gas and maybe have enough to fill up 1 or 2 tanks, maybe set off in a storage. But other than that, I mean, where are we going? Well, we're going to bug out to where? Everyone's got this thing. I would say the next prep will be hard to find, honestly. It's going to be, in the end, in my opinion, will end up still being food and water. Yeah. If this thing, like, I guess you would say, spikes, if there's another wave, there's something that causes more additional fear and panic, they realize their 2-week to 90-day supply is not enough, there could be an extra run on stuff as people run out of supplies. That's one thing I'm worried about, as far as people taking a run on stuff. It sounds silly, but it takes nothing to empty meat shelves. It takes nothing at all. It takes maybe a couple hundred people filling up a cart, and it's out per store, and it's just done.
Yeah, like this dad on YouTube. The next hard to find item, a job, is what he wrote.
Right. That is honestly, and he's not wrong. A lot of people, because there's so many hundreds and thousands of different mom and pop shops.
Yeah, we have
retailers that are just not
Osler,
open.
K Hiker, but zinc. I did a video on the immune system supplements, and I had zinc in it, and now I'm having a hard time getting zinc. I should have got a little bit more than what I got at the time, but
yeah, we started incorporating vitamin D, turmeric.
Yep.
A little bit extra garlic, and we have multivitamins, obviously, that we're adding to our normal daily routine for sure.
Well, let's see. So we're doing pretty good on time, and I know that we have. Let's see. Let me get I've been trying to put all of your comments and the cool comments out there, trying to put it on the screen. I have this cool new software. I'm going to do this banner here. Up next, we have Budget Bug Out. I know he's on standby here, ready to go. And we're kind of talking. I don't think that you, Drop Porch Survival, Budget Bug Out, and myself have all talked at the same time together. Maybe we should do
No, not at the same time. Definitely not. I've talked to both of y'all off camera a few times.
Off camera. Well, let's bring in Budget Bug Out. So welcome, Budget Bug Out. He's in full mask too. So
I love it. There you go.
How are you doing?
Doing well. How are y'all?
Really good. Now we were talking earlier. I was a little disappointed that that the mustache, you're no longer going mustache. You're growing it out. But I think that was you said your wife's decision, or it was out of your control at that time.
Yeah, after Mustache March. So everyone in my chain of command, all the dudes, anyways, some of the females, will grow out a little mustache, and it's just kind of a tradition. We're all in it together. We all got the dirt stash, but come April, we pretty much all shave it off.
I like how Dropboard just has a knife just going on mid conversation.
I was like, I still have the fidget spinner from 2016. Yeah, you can't help it.
When you go on a prepper live stream, they all are carrying knives on them, so it's like
basically
it's like West Side Story.
Are you really a prepper?
Yeah. if you don't have a knife live on the live stream, then you're
right.
you're gonna get called out. So maybe that should just be a rule with all guests that
it should be.
Before we talk, let's see the knife.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change how this screen. Oh, that looks kind of cool too. It's more of the wide view.
Very cool.
The budget. Where are you, like in the attic or something, or it's a lot of angles in the roof line there?
And the so the bunker is taken over with other things. I'm just kidding. No, I'm actually, so I have to work from home now. So like I literally had to bring my work laptop home with me, and so I'm using my wife's office space, and so she's in another location. She's a photographer, so she's down in her studio. She moved all that stuff down there, and then left this for me. So I've had to move in because this is the new norm, teleworking for military. So just an office space now, kind of.
Well, very cool. Well, so Dropforge, maybe we could talk about what are some of the upcoming videos that you have, and then maybe we could all do a couple more questions. So maybe do you want to talk about some of the upcoming things you have going on, Dropforge?
Yeah, absolutely. So a few things we want to do is, like I said, we have some masks waiting in the wings that will provide thousands, like literally thousands, if not tens of thousands of people with the ability to start getting some PPE together. And there's a bunch of guys, if you go on like Instagram and social media, like I said, like Recycle Firefighter, Super SC Straps, the Aero Collective, there's so many people that are making these masks and trying to make them available for people. But the strong material that I'm looking forward to, there are materials manufacturers that make the N95 material for these types of masks are starting just to sell the rolls and the sheets. So they're going to take the rolls, send them to the mask making companies, the big companies like 3M, and give them that. But they're going to start selling the rolls and make those available to people like us in the world, so we can start making our own at home, because we can't necessarily. They want to keep people from going out, and obviously, and we can still make them. So if you want to do something like a bandana or whatnot, you actually will have something that's kind of N95 rated. It's not, but I think it'd be safer. And like I said, as soon as they can start making those widely available, I think people should be allowed. I think we should social distance, be super paranoid, and wash our hands and hand sanitizer ourselves up and do all that stuff. But we should be able to. I think people should be allowed to go back to work. They should just have a few, like, create safety protocols, just like you would do in any big corporation, the military, anywhere, and kind of have things ready to go for people so they can get back to work. But other than that, I have a winter survival challenge that we did right before this all kind of kicked off. We were up in the mountains, and we did a 7-day trip over in like a foot of snow, and it was absolutely amazing because I've never done mountains, snow, and living out in the woods for a week ever. So that was a lot of fun, having to kind of only survive off what I could eat and stuff, and that was a lot of fun. That was like super awesome to do that. So that's a video series we have coming up. But other than that, it's really, I mean, it's kind of sucks because I can't leave my house. I can't go out and go off and do stupid things in the woods with fishing gear and bows and arrows and risk being bit by a rattlesnake in the woods anymore. Kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's well, we're looking forward to once those videos come back and you're able to do that safely and not get in trouble for doing it. So, well, this has been awesome. I don't want to take up too much more of your time because I know you have a lot of stuff going on too. But I'm sure everyone's already subscribed to Dropforge Survival. If for some reason that you're not, well, first off, what's the matter with you? But okay. But second, make sure you subscribe to Dropforge Survival and check out and help him support him with. Again, he does a lot of charitable stuff throughout the years now, and with the mask thing, it looks like it's no different than that. So, Dropforge, thank you so much for being on the.
Yep, absolutely.
And hopefully we could do it again. I'd love to. It's always fun talking with you. So, and we'll talk more offline, I'm sure. So.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. Well, that was Dropforge Survival on the live stream. And let's see, did I do it right? Oops, I think I brought in a surprise guest over there briefly. But all right, so now we're here with Budget Bug Out, and we have some questions here. Maybe we should, before we start, take a couple. I saw someone had a question with regard to the zombie backpack. Let's see, that was from Shane the Survivor. Budget Bug Out, where are your zombie apocalypse bug out bags? Yeah, so I still have my bug out bags, and they're in their locations, but I've also taken things out of like backup bags, if that makes any sense, and then created like more of a collected inventory
a bit more streamlined approach. I don't have a PDF like you usually do, Cliff. So I've taken a lot of those things out, and then kind of, made my own little like prepper storage house or whatnot, stockpile, I guess, as it were. Yeah. But I'll be doing another zombie survival kit at some point.
Those ones are always pretty fun, and I always look forward to the thumbnails on this too.
Yeah.
Personally, that's let's see, what do we have? Good point on home working. Any preps? Let's see, who is this? Afraid of the Dark again. That cool avatar there. Did your zombie apocalypse preparedness help you for this situation? That's from Shane the Survivor.
Yeah, I can answer that for sure. So one of the things I would say in my zombie videos is that if you're prepared for the zombie apocalypse, you're prepared for anything. Yeah. And so absolutely, I started doing prepping kind of a while back, kind of like my parents were into it. Even I found out recently with my grandmother's passing that happened about a month ago. She was a prepper. She lived in Florida, and ready for hurricanes. And that's one of the things that happens whenever hurricanes are on their way, is that people go in and clear the shelves like they did with the coronavirus as well. So, anyways, they actually come across a lot of her stockpiles. It's still like they're still uncovering some of the stuff that she's been hiding. It's kind of funny. But anyway, so just having that mentality, always being prepared for anything, helped it so that as the waves of like the panic or the clearing of the shelves were happening, I was just kind of looking at my wife, and we're just like, I think we're good. Yeah. So like we'll just keep buying the normal things, and we'll just going to create a buffer. That's kind of what we did. We just kind of had layered effects, kind of like your systems, where we still had our normal things like perishable stuff, and then we just increased some other, like a buffer to our preps.
Yeah, I think back in the day, I used to like the people that were prepping for whatever EMPs or zombies and stuff like that. I was like, it's not realistic. But as you said, if you're prepared for zombies, you are prepared for whatever. Then so now I don't care what your inspiration. If you're afraid of whatever aliens coming down and you want to get prepared for it, that's cool with me as long as you're prepping. So in the end, it should be just about the prepping. So at least for me. So let's see, we have some more people in the so we had some planned out questions. So maybe we should start knocking through those ones. So I think the one that we talked about yesterday, you said, what is it like to be right? So we were talking about how us preppers it seems like we were right all along, and now it feels a little good in a way. So maybe we could talk about that first.
Absolutely. So in Jurassic Park, the movie, it was one of my favorite movies. Yeah. Ian Malcolm, as the T-Rex is breaking out of the cage, Ian Malcolm goes, "God, I hate being right all the time." Yeah. And I am just like, that is what it feels like at right now, is because in addition to just, it's good to be prepared, to have, stockpile or inventory or whatnot. Yeah. In addition to that, and then just kind of seeing the trends or just kind of anticipating and just also, even if we're wrong, we're still okay, because we have that tangible insurance, more or less. So it feels good to be a prep, and I've been putting memes on my Instagram, and it's kind of drove a couple of my coworkers who follow me kind of a little angry, because they were just like, they weren't prepared. So it feels good. It feels good to be a prep. It feels good to be a prepper.
There we go. I even put a banner on there. It feels good to be a prepper.
Yes.
Very
Dang,
cool.
It feels good to be a prepper.
Yeah, that might have to be a future rap video, I think, for prepper rap. I don't know.
Yep. Prepping ain't easy.
Yeah. It definitely isn't. It's necessary though.
Yes.
So I was hoping. I thought later on we have Mike coming on from VanQuest. I think he's going to come pretty soon. And I was just kind of reminiscing that you and I, it feels like we've been friends for like a decade now, but we've really only met twice in person. Once was in Seattle before you're going to Korea, I think. And then the second time was at SHOT Show in 2019. And I remember we were driving around. It was kind of trippy because I think I was driving in my rental car. I had Budget Bug out in the passenger side riding shotgun, and it was just like, yeah, man, this is crazy. I got Budget Bug out in the car. I'm hoping that we could have some more times where we could schedule like that, where we could just kind of hang out, because that was a blast.
It was great. I had a lot of fun. I love those kind of events.
Yeah, we're for me, like we were talking, I think yesterday, about how the SHOT Show is cool, but it's about the hang and everything. Is for me, it's a lot more fun to seeing all the faces and stuff that you're familiar with. Let me see what's going on in the chat room over here.
And some of us are just so like-minded, anyways, and a lot of the followers, subscribers, and stuff like that. So it's always cool to if it's virtually, which everything is these days, or if it's in person, it's always good to like talk to like-minded people.
Yeah, definitely. We have Afraid of the Dark says Vindicated Prepper, copyright it. Okay. Let's see we're going to talk a little bit about, as far as all the COVID stuff, we're going to talk about like what's next. So what's next in the storyline for us?
Hopefully light at the end of the tunnel, as it were. At least that's what our president tweeted famously recently. Yeah. So I've been watching the Intel, as it were, and looking at we discussed yesterday. I came from Korea, right, to come over here, and I'm in Germany, stationed out here. But I'm going to be PCSing back to Korea. PCS means basically moving, transferring back to Korea. So I'm keeping up with what's happening in Korea, because I want, they were hit first, and it seemed like it just spread like wildfire out there, right? They've got their cases down to, I want to say 30 now. Now, I didn't look into all the sources, and I didn't delve into that. Research is very important, by the way. A lot of people, they'll just take like an article and they just go crazy and they'll just react to it. So I didn't go through the data, but that's basically what I think is happening next, is that yes, it hit Asia first, and then it hit Europe, and then it hit the States. I think in that order, once again, it will start being actually contained. Things are opening up in China, but you can't really rely on that information. But what I can rely on is American sources and people I know over in Korea. So light at the end of the tunnel, I think, is what's next. It's just kind of lasting the storm and the kind of after effects of economy and losing jobs and things of that nature. Yeah,
I know a lot of people get when you get kind of the news from China with regard to no new cases, and you don't see it really in like Shanghai or Beijing or anything like that. So it's like you can't really trust the data. I don't think so. But yeah, if you have contacts in Korea, then you can trust that. So.
And I also wonder, my wife and I were joking about it, is whenever they say no new cases, is that because they, eliminated it?
Yeah. I thought it was good. I wouldn't be surprised, but let's see. Yeah. Let's see. We have David, independent leader, stresses people out. Yeah. Let's see. So recently you had a really cool video. I'm going to see if I could actually make this work on here, where we're talking about the cotton bandana one. And I remember seeing that like in the middle of the night, because you're in Germany right now. So that was a super cool video. And yours was very succinct, where I think you did it in a minute. Let me see if I could actually get it going here, where we could hear the sound. Let's do a little watch of it really quick. Again, trying out my new software. Hopefully this works. Can you hear that?
I don't hear anything personally.
Oh, no audio. Okay,
I can hum a tune though.
Yeah, yeah, but you
stock music.
Yes, if you guys haven't watched, a bunch of bug outs video on this, is a really good one. Just do a bunch of bug out face mask and it'll come up. And so everyone's been doing this lately, and I think you put a little filter in yours for that. Yeah,
the first one I just kind of show just real quick how to make a cotton one. That's to kind of go with the CDC's recommendation, and then the other. I put a filter in the next one you can see here. And that was kind of a cool feeling. Kind of going back to the answer earlier, is pulling out these things, because my wife was like, they're out of masks. Should we buy a mask? And I was like, I pulled something out from a undisclosed location. I was like, we're good. We got masks. And she was like, very nice.
Love it. I was like that with oops, let me stop this from playing. There we go. Let me go back to the other screen. Boom, there we go. All right, cool. That was fancy. Unfortunately, I didn't have the music going on there, but beyond that, it was pretty good. So I saw that. Are you using those type of cotton masks, or are you going with more of like N95?
So I have both, but so for work, I don't have here in Germany, off base in certain cities, there are certain requirements for wearing masks wherever you go. And then on base, no matter where you go, you have to wear a mask. And then even at work in uniform, you have to wear a mask too. So I'm just kind of like, I'm coming up with a bunch of different masks for the different ones that are actually more functional, and then other ones that actually within the parameters of the military setting. Yeah, I don't know if wearing a plain N95 mask is allowed. White is available, so I got a bunch of different ones. So I'll ask my leadership for clarification.
Yeah, when we were kind of topping off in our preps, my wife was concerned on the toilet paper, and I'm like, no, I got toilet paper down. Don't worry about toilet paper. We're good to go. So, and it sounds like you were the same with the masks then on your side.
It was almost scary because it's never been where like everything that we have is like, well, we do have it. Should we buy more? Like everyone else is panicking. Should we be panicking? You know, it's kind of weird. You know, if everyone's panicking except for you.
Yeah, that kind of leads into the next question we had, where we had actually I have a banner for it. Let me get it really quick. The question that we talked about: are preppers hoarders? That's a big thing that I keep hearing a lot now. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so in the truest sense of the form, I would say that we're not hoarders, because like the connotation is like they hold on to things because there's like some sort of sentimental attachment, and they don't know how to give up things, and it has no purpose. Whereas I think that it's not hoarders. I don't think it's hoarding. I think that it's more of just like insurance, tangible insurance that. Instead of waiting for your, the insurance company to come out, respond however many days or weeks later with a check, and then you can take that check and go get something. You already have that. The supplies, you have everything right then and there. And that's what the Red Cross, which I kind of threw over my shoulder, one of the places I volunteer with a lot, that's what they always recommend, is that they really want, especially in the disaster teams and then in the preparedness teams, they really want people to be better prepared, because it takes the onus off of like the rest of society and charities and the government and FEMA, things that you probably shouldn't be counting on anyways. But if you yourself are prepared, like I said, it's not really hoarding. It's just insurance. It's just common sense, and a little bit of paranoia. But I think that as long as you're able to keep it healthy, I think it's okay.
Yeah, when we were talking earlier, and you described it, I haven't heard it this way, but you said that we've been for years we've been siphoning a little bit out of the system each time, but that's not hoarding. That's like, no one would say that if you're with every paycheck you're putting a little bit away into your savings account. Yeah. You're not hoarding money,
right?
Like
that's financial discipline if you do that.
Yeah, but I guess if you're siphoning a little bit of extra canned food here or there, a little extra toilet paper, I guess that becomes hoarding then. And you should give it away. So.
No, definitely not. And I've seen some of the Facebook groups like, what's going to happen if someone comes calling for those things and our government tries to, take those things, and the response is, come and get it.
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to violence against the government, but I just think it's funny. It's like the very first thing that a lot of preppers buy is guns and ammo and weapons, and then they build from there.
I think sometimes there's a lot of people that are guns people kind of first and foremost, and then they justify it maybe as prepping. Then. But we have Mike has a question here. Hey guys, good to see you both. Can you both talk about beards and masks for a moment, please? Yeah, so because I think we both have that, and I think at least on my side, I'd be perfectly cool shaving it all off for test videos. And if it was like a real emergency situation, I'm going full bear on it. But my wife has been very hesitant on me. Like she says I look funny without it on. So I don't know. What about you?
So I can tell you that it is in the military regulation, I guess, that that we have to keep like our beards or facial hair trimmed so that this has a good seal. So I've never like tested that theory, but I have been in one of the chambers in basic training, and where skin is showing, or like especially where like you recently shaved. Oh, cool! You got one. Yeah. Like you can feel it tingle, and then whenever you take this off, if you do what I do, which was just like you breathe it in. You're supposed to say like your name and rank and like something. I just breathed in and just started coughing, and they're like, "You're not leaving until you say your name and rank." But anyways, it does provide a better seal, so I think it is a good idea.
I think
I'm just letting it grow because it's the only time I can.
Yeah, I mean, in the videos I do for testing and stuff, I'm not testing against mustard gas or anything like that. So if I was, I'd probably want to make sure I'm cleanly shaven. But if I'm doing like flour or pepper spray, and I guess it's mainly I haven't felt the need yet. And with the current situation, I'm not in full face gas mask mode yet. So
yeah,
let's see. It looks like Chris over in the UK shaved his beard off recently, so he's in full gas mask mode, ready to go for it. I guess that's probably good. In all of my kits, I now have like a shaving kit specific for this, so I could just really quickly shave it off if need be.
Yeah, I'm never against people being over prepared, because I was always accused of being over prepared, and now people are coming up to me asking me, "Hey, what do I do to be prepared?" So like, I don't have a crystal ball or anything, so I just assume things based off of what I'm seeing and trends and stuff. So what I just ask is that you don't act on paranoia and then do something that you'd regret. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So yesterday we had another question that we were talking about: are preppers crazy? And we were going to talk a little bit about that. So, Budget Bug Out, what do you think? Are preppers crazy?
Yeah, so kind of what I talk about with a healthy amount of paranoia. I think that preppers are the right kind of crazy. So I've always been one who, if society says one thing, like Mark Twain writes a lot more eloquently. Basically, like if everyone's going this way, maybe that's an indicator you shouldn't go that way. So I don't think I think preppers are. Yeah, crazy-ish, but not in a bad way. But I think that if we don't have balance with, having one foot in, what's happening at the moment, and then one foot in a looking forward to the future, if we don't have that type of balance, we could be thrown off. If we're just always thinking about the most deadly rather than the most likely, if we're always thinking about this is the most deadly, there's a of a percentage that this could happen, so I'm only going to prepare for nuclear fallout, and that's the only thing I'm preparing for. I'm not even going to prepare for hurricanes or anything like that. So like if you get too narrow minded on your preps, then that's when it could fall into that. Unless you're going to take an approach where you are like I'm preparing for everything type of situation. That's a little bit better approach, less crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to really be prepared for. I mean, I try to do stuff based off of what I think are the probabilities based, and it's so regional specific. I mean, you're in Germany right now. I'm over in the Seattle area, and it's probably completely different needs and the stuff that could happen here. So it's hard to be the the holy grail of prepper, where you're just prepared for every little thing.
Just the Red Cross has some recommendations on that. So it's. What you want to be prepared for is three things. So it's CPR, so have CPR training and things like that. So these are things that will happen to 50% of Americans. So being a situation where you have to use or assist with CPR. The other thing is getting hit by a natural disaster, whether it be tornadoes or flooding. Flooding happens in every state. The U.S. is the most severe weather-prone country in the world. So just FYI, because of just where you guys are climate-wise. And then the third thing is being without power, potentially even heating for 3 days or more. So having enough supplies for that. So those are the three things that if you at a minimum cover those things.
Yeah, I like how you had that broken down. Yeah, in Seattle, I mean, everyone's usually talks about earthquakes and volcanoes and stuff, but really flooding is the number one like emergency that happens to everyone. I guess that's not as popular of a topic. So we have this cool. KD for Bow C. I've been prepping or preparing before prepping was cool. Yes, we've been cool long before it was cool to be a prepper.
That's how it feels right now.
Yes. And we have one. So we talked about military. We talked about Red Cross. We talked about our preppers crazy. The other question that we had, and I think we're gonna have a little bit of overlap with Michael from VanQuest. We'll get him on it shortly, I think, too. And we also have prepper agenda has been over here in the background. I'm just gonna give people a sneak. Let me change this really quick. So I don't know if you met Prepper Agenda. We get a little sneak peek that what's coming up later in the live stream. We have Prepper Agenda, aka Snake Eyes, is he's going to be unleashing stuff on everyone over here. We also have Michael from VanQuest that's going to be coming on pretty soon too. So, it's the show is going on. We have a lot of cool things going. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But let's get let's do that final question with regard to growing up in Hurricaneville. So we have, what was it like growing up in Hurricaneville, and how have you leveraged it for the prepping that you're doing right now?
So I grew up in Florida. So my parents were also military. I was born in Florida, and then whenever they retired from the military, they retired back in Florida as well. But I've also been in other locations in the Southeast. So I kind of know what it's like to, see a hurricane on the horizon, or just know that it's hurricane season, and that, hey, we need to get supplies if we are, going to be out of, basically if the whole town is literally shut down, we're going to need to have everything that's going to get us through until they get restocked, more or less, or rebuilt, or aid helps. Aid shows up, whether it be FEMA, Red Cross, or all of the above. So it was always a lot of Costco runs, type of mindset, and never feeling comfortable with having like empty space in like cabinets or those kind of things. So and freezers, having extra big freezer and stuff like that. It's always having stocked up frozen food and things like that. So and that is carried through my whole life. And then whenever I watched documentaries, I don't know if you would call it a documentary, but the show Doomsday Prepper, back when that's just sort of near when my Air Force career began, I was like, I need to be doing that for me and my family, rather now that I'm kind of like outside of the airman dorms, because I can't just fill my dorms that are inspected once every few months with a bunch of stuff, because there's rules. But yeah, once I moved out of the house, now I got the stockpiles, as they call it.
Yeah. Well, let's we have Michael from VanQuest, and he's just sitting here. I think he's ready to go. Let's bring him on really quick. So Michael from VanQuest, first, let's see your knife. What do you have?
You said this was a knife thing.
Yes, it's a EDC knife check. What do we have over here? Yeah.
Well, it's kind of the knife. Go up and it's like a magnet. You get to pick all the other knives up, because
look at that. That's like Crocodile Dundee level right there.
It's a heavily modified RTAC from Ontario that honestly lives under the couch.
That is pretty cool. So that's not your regular EDC. That's more of a home knife for live streams.
Yeah, if your home, neighbor's home, when you whip it out, everything changes.
Yeah, so I think the three of us haven't talked with each other at the same time for about a year and a half now. I think SHOT Show 2019 was it. And we always have a good time hanging out. So
yeah, was it last year at EWA, Marty?
Yeah, I was at EWA. Yeah, I saw you there.
It's hard to remember, because when we do those shows over and over every year, they all bleed in.
They do. Yeah. I saw EWA, and then I was still able to go to SHOT Show last year, because I was at a TDY, and I used my my jet lag day to just hop into SHOT Show real quick. It was great. So yeah, I got to see you guys there too. I was very thankful. Yeah,
it's always good hang, man.
Yeah, and we always have a good. I think every time that I've hung out with Mike, I know there's been either Jameson or some kind of beer involved, and we're always having good times with that. So, and I also like the VanQuest over at SHOT Show, where you have the EDC dump you had a bunch of preppers over there and a lot of gear people, and it's like, all right, EDC time, and you just put it all on the table and get a photo of it. I thought that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that is how it's done, man.
Well, cool. Well, I know it's I forget what time it is right now in Germany for Budget Bug Out, but what time is
Bedtime.
it? Is it bedtime?
8 p.m. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
It's,
30,
well, it's
30 minutes till bedtime, so it's 8
30
o'clock.
minutes.
So
Okay. Well, cool. Well, I
Okay.
thought we'll send off Marty then. So let me let's see, how do we do that? So yeah. So again, if you're not already subscribed to Budget Bug Out, if you're subscribed to my channel, you're probably already subscribed to Budget Bug Out. If you're not subscribed already, what's wrong with you? First off, number two, make sure you subscribe to him. He has a lot of awesome videos. Some of the we showed earlier, the one that he had with regard to the bandana, and then he has some cool zombie ones. He has all sorts of cool gear, and it's always level-headed, practical, and he's just been an awesome friend and colleague for going on a decade now. So thanks. Wait, you want to say something? Like, yeah,
quick question to Marty. That was
Yeah.
a great 1 minute video, and I didn't even know that you could do that with just a bandana and some hair ties. But for people who aren't in the Air Force, where do you get hair ties from?
God dang it.
He got you.
Good.
He got you.
That was
Yeah,
good.
that's good.
What's funny is that some of those are my bandanas, or my hair bands that I got.
I knew it.
for,
Yeah,
I use
you
it to
caught him.
strap
So they're
labs,
vegan, is what you're saying.
That's what I was building towards. I like to drop that in conversations.
Yeah, totally.
Well, cool. Well, I don't want to keep you up too late, Marty, but thanks again, Budget Bug Out, for coming on the live stream. Hopefully we can do it again, and I'm sure we'll be talking more offline. So
For sure. Thank you so much for having me. It was an
all right,
honor.
man.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it was so much fun. So awesome. We'll see you next time.
I'll see ya.
Okay.
See ya.
All right. It's just you and I now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Good thing we're getting recorded.
We have Calvin over
Deposition.
here. Yeah, Calvin says, I'm amazed how prepping channels always start off at how-to channels and become talking head channels. I think that's probably pretty accurate.
Well, I mean, you have the biggest head, right, Cliff? So
Well,
maybe you could weigh in on that one. Like legally.
I do have I'm pretty, when people meet me in person, I'm pretty, sometimes I scare them on how, because I'm pretty tall and big. So yeah, I do have a large head. So I have like the largest hat size that you could get.
I was just going to ask, what's the hat size?
Yeah, so I have, it's like an extra large Kangol 504. I think it's a 504 ventilator, Ventair is what it's called. So you should probably get one. I've been meaning to talk to you about it, but
yeah.
So so everyone, this is Mike from VanQuest. I first met Mike probably 5 years ago or around there, 5 or 6 years ago.
Sounds right.
Yeah, it's been half a decade now. And I remember the first time that I met you, I think I just started talking with VanQuest on like the maximizer organizers, and I did a video of it. And I was talking with Alex, who is another VanQuest person, and he was the only one I have ever talked with, really. And then you were there, and like there's Rash show, and this guy is like heckling me the whole time, and it was like we were talking about my shoes, on how at least my videos are better than my shoes or something like that. And then
you still have those shoes, don't you?
Yeah.
Look down and tell me.
I'm like, who is this guy? And then it was you, and we've been it's been fun talking and hanging out ever since then. And I think that night we went over to Senior Frogs in Vegas and for one of the party. It was good times. But so
I mean,
sorry,
it's just one of for me. Yeah, sorry. Comedy, especially in a time like this, not making fun of any situations, but just, liven it up a little bit. There's still something to live for. It's still fun to do things day to day, even if you're stuck inside.
Yeah. Well, so maybe we could talk a little bit about, we have a lot of stuff we have planned for as far as the topics. Maybe we could talk a little bit about how you're holding up during the situation, how you're, because I know you more as a gearhead. I know that you're into knives, flashlights, and of course, VanQuest products.
Right.
How are you holding up with all your supplies right now?
Well, I don't know what all this pepper stuff is about. I'm more of a salt guy, so I'm not some emergency pepper dude. I just keep
ionized salt. Yeah.
Never mind. Prepper. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know. Coming up in the Scouts and just being around people who are practical. Cars break down, floods happen out here in California, earthquakes happen, fires. Just being able to, get out of there safely with enough gear to get to the next station. If you don't have a plan for that, at least you're not going to, die of exposure in 55-degree weather, because that happens. So I'm pragmatic, I guess you could say. And for me, I never, ironically, I used to sell long-term shelf-stable food
I
at
didn't
local
know
gun
that.
shows. Yeah, at local gun shows and trade shows, we were selling ammunition and shelf-stable meat and freeze-dried food. Probably 2008, 2009, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And it was back then. I considered it, and I stocked up on a little in there. But I wouldn't say that it's just me and my wife in our household. The dog counts, but
totally.
he's like 10 pounds, so we can get a 20-pound bag, and it'll last quite some time. But for us,
what kind of dog is it?
Well, we'll see it with the kind of calorie count and what kind of marbling on his fat if it really gets bad. But I have a lot of A1 sauce.
A1 does make anything.
Yeah, but no, we call him like a Jake Russell Terrier, Jack Russell. I think he's a Parsons Terrier. He's about 10 pounds. His name is Gerald, and he's pretty awesome. But, I guess he's our non-smoke detector alarm. Any animals, any people, if an Amazon delivery is late, he's right on it. Just boom.
I used to not like the yippy dogs, but now like you kind of want to know they're good. They alert you and that they're doing their job to bring. They have to do their part to get the food at the house.
It's their own little security. But back to that. I wouldn't say I had 3 months of food or even a solid 2 months. We might have had 30 days if we stretched it. So we went out and we didn't go crazy. Just got some shelf stable stuff, mostly more of what we typically would buy. So we didn't go over the top. Water is good for me. I've always had water and water filtration, a decent amount of camping gear.
Yeah.
And that coming with that is tents and sleeping pads and ways to keep warm. So
yeah, it sounds like you're A-okay. You're just bunkering in. You have the supplies and the knowledge and all that. Looks like Mandy in the comment section says, Mike is my new favorite. I think you're already the new favorite streaming guest so far. Just within a matter of minutes, that's what happened.
I wanted to break it up a little bit. I mean, yes, everything is serious. This is not, time to play around, but you can't lose your sense of humor in these situations. And again, life is worth living. We're being entertained, and we're entertaining everyone else, right?
Yeah, well, that's what the whole point that I wanted to do these live streams. I'm doing a weekly now while we're all sheltering in place because, I mean, if you're just watching the news and a lot of just YouTube videos and stuff, it could get kind of scary and depressing and get anxiety and stay up late. It might as well be entertained and kind of laugh at the face of danger. So, and I think that's what we're trying to do here. So we had some questions planned out. Let's see. We talked a little bit about how you're doing. Was there any other SHOT Show stories that we wanted to talk about, or is that all kind of what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas stuff?
I would say that outside of our awesome time hanging out at the Airbnb and just it was a cool little impromptu roundtable. That was great. But outside of that.
Yeah, Vancouver always has like a real nice meal at one of the days ever at SHOT Show where you're you put on. There's certain people that were there. I was there with City Prepping and some others, and it does always a good time. We have Bionic Mandis has a question. Has this latest pandemic have you thinking about any new gear for future pandemics?
Well, I can say great question. In general, we've noticed the focus on medical gear much more the past year or so. And that's something that we're definitely going to expand upon in the future. And it just makes a lot of sense. But typical VanQuest fashion, we don't deliver what we think is a good idea.
No.
We deliver what working professionals in that field will basically waylay to us. Hey, this is something that there's a gap, or there's a version of this bag, but it's hard to get. It's in limited numbers. It's only available for purchase, and if you're in certain programs, so we need a more accessible version. So we're going to definitely do some more medical in the future.
Cool. There's all sorts of people are asking VanQuest related questions. Where's the new sling bag? We have Dutch bike blogger. When are we going to expect dealership in the Netherlands? It's hard to find VanQuest gear. Do you have an update on that, Mike?
Not right away. No. It's something we're working on. If he could recommend any trustworthy retail, outlets, anyone that he routinely buys from, then that would help. That's kind of the the way to help us out find them.
Yeah, I know that I know firsthand from Dutch Bike Blogger was talking about the Netherlands. He won a flashlight at the last stream, and that got shipped out. And I know it's expensive to send stuff over to, even for a small little flashlight, to send stuff out to the Netherlands. But let's see,
Sure.
we have people all international listening in. We have Philip from Rodriguez from Paris, France. That's pretty cool. Let's see.
Hello, Philippe.
Yeah, Philippe. I did it wrong. So now a while back you sent me a video where you were. Did you used to work at Spyderco, and is that
no?
How do you know so much about knives? How did that all start?
I was about 7 years old, and I saw a brown paper bag, and as a kid, I'm like, hell yeah, free stuff. So I open it. It's of course abandoned. I peek inside, and there's a couple of really crappy copies of Buck 110s, the most common American lockback, brass framed, wood handled knife. And they're not so good. They're lower quality, but I kind of was like, oh, that's interesting. And I was already in the Scouts for a while, and the only thing I had was a standard kind of Swiss Army knife, something that's a slip joint, which teaches you some great basics like cutting away from yourself and no prying and whatnot. But yeah, I would say it kind of started from there when I was 7 years old. Now at 35, I personally have 450, maybe 500 knives. I've owned way more than that. It's not about the numbers. I just collect different steels, different locks, knives made in different places. I love everything about it. It's the most functional tool. Without a cutting tool, this clothing doesn't get made. The sheetrock behind me, everything has to get cut. The titanium in the watch was probably water jet cut, very likely. But you still need tools to basically process everything. So the most basic cutting tool is a knife, and I think that's pretty universal and cool.
Now when I think this is last year we were talking. Do you have your Spyderco, your serrated edge one? Because you talk about that where you're kind of explaining why you prefer having a serrated edge because you have a greater length and cutting material. I thought that was so fascinating. Do you EDC Knife Check Spyderco? Do you have that with you? And two, can we talk about it?
Do I have it with? Have tools.
Oh, I knew it.
In fact, if you get something in here, you can make some horrible scissors.
Oh my gosh, yeah, those scissors.
That's not how scissors work.
It's not.
Work.
Yeah,
but,
so
yeah.
I don't want to. I'll let you talk. I'll let the master talk about this because I thought it was super fascinating.
Okay, well, yeah. In general, it's just something that's very misunderstood, and these times when people are inside a lot more often than anything and using YouTube as a great way to learn, new skills and talents, one of the things that goes for a lot of knife guys even, and definitely for the average person just has, a knife from a local sporting goods store. Nothing too amazing, maybe just a budget Kershaw or $30 knife, which are great. Some of those are some of the best knives out there. $30, $40 options are amazing. But a lot of those people don't really take the time to learn how to sharpen. And the first thing that you learn how to sharpen is a standard plain edge knife. And that's fairly simple and straightforward, but there's a lot of misinformation about serrated knives. So the serrations, I'll just do this real quick. It's kind of a tradition.
Is that a thing that?
It's my thing.
I think that should be your. Well, you have an award-winning mustache, that's for sure. But
yeah, 8th place.
Is it 8th place last year? Is that?
I think every year.
Every year, okay.
I paid for it.
There's 7 other people that are pretty good on their mustaches.
Sorry. They have more money. But yeah, so it's just one of those things where people get kind of, let's get the right leg. Perfect. People get kind of weirded out by those valleys and these longer teeth that are in between. And they think that there's no way that you can take a standard flat stone. This is a ceramic stone, happens to be a Spyderco ceramic double-sided stone. And they think, well, I need a specialty machine factory. The way that these are actually sharpened is a wheel. Very often a round wheel will come and contact, let's see, I suck at this. Will contact that surface. Yeah, I'm not a YouTuber.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
So it'll come in contact with the guy, And when it does, it's going to machine cut those serrations. So those serrations are not, put on by hand. There's no jig or anything like that. But once that's done, there's a pretty perfect angle already here on this side, on the face. And that's like 15 degrees on average, sometimes totally different. But on the back side, it is more or less flat. In fact, there's almost no secondary bevel, as you would say.
Yep.
So you can see that, I believe, right about there. So it's fairly flat.
Yeah.
And the way that you would sharpen a serrated knife is with this stone.
Yep.
And I'll
on the flat side.
Right, on that flat side, at a very slight angle. So let's see if I can get, there we go. So you want to get just about, I would say 5-10 degrees. 10 is fine, but you don't want to go as high as like 20 or 30 or, anything ridiculous. You can, but you're just going to do that and pull back. And that's about right. It's sharpening a chisel because it is chisel ground. It is completely flat on one side and angled on the other. But because of this one angled side, there are tapered dowels and rods that'll go through each individual one. But your hand can't match the machine 15 to 18 degree edge that was put on it from the factory. So don't even try. And the quickest and fastest way I've ever seen to sharpen a serrated knife is with a buffing wheel, which inherently is very dangerous, can get away from you, go around the wheel and come back. I worked for a while, and that is a common thing that if you're not paying attention. But you can, with a Dremel, with the knife, probably clamped down or very, very well secured, grit wheel, put some rouge or polish on it and polish out this front. So polish this side out on the front, and that will just help to lower the resistance and smooth it out. And on the back, again, you're sharpening a chisel, but it's just misunderstood, serrations. People think it's a saw, and a saw would be totally different. This is just a broken up edge, whereas a saw would be looking more like this. So, from straight on, that's a saw. It's going to be kind of undulated, and there's spaces to remove big chunks of material, whereas a serration, man, there is a big difference. From the front, it's going to look like that, but from the side, it looks like that. And up and down, I would say these would be the perfect ones. So this would be these teeth, right? So that's the teeth right there. And then we have the valleys in between. And so this will catch the material first, basically start the incision, and then the rest of the work is done by the valleys in between. So what that means, very long-winded, but what that means is you have a 50-50 workload, and people just don't see it that way. Like it is half of the work is going to these teeth, the other half is going to those valleys. And so that means that the edges in general, they will last 25 up to 30, but usually 25% longer. So my preference, if you can somewhat compromise, would be a half serrated knife. So this is a old 1999 Chris Reeve Sabenza. But what's unique and really cool is those serration teeth knocked kind of flat, so they're in line. You can see that they're not really peaking above the edge itself. But the other cool thing, and very smart and ahead of the time, was sharpened at the same roughly 20 degrees across even the serration. So instead of making it chisel ground on the back and chisel ground on the front, both sides can be sharpened at the same angle on a stone. This is a very unique serration, or at least it was for the time in the late 90s. So you can take a normal stone and the front of the teeth, the same teeth that we're seeing here that you normally would never take to a stone, you can take those front of the teeth to the stone at the same 20 degrees, and it's completely in line, I would say. So it's a lot easier to sharpen. That's a great question from Ohio Preparedness. Serrations excel at cutting dense or fibrous materials. So a friend of mine is a mechanic. We go to a pick-apart because he has an old Japanese sports car, and he wants to take, I don't know, I think it was a water pump that was hard to get. And we had to cut some hoses, and those hoses were frozen because the clamps are rusted on. And when you go to cut, even with something that's, very, very thin and sharp like a scalpel, there's low resistance because of how thin of a scalpel blade is, but you're still going to have to saw at it pretty hard because of how dense and fibrous that rubber hose was. So he had a very sharp, like hair popping sharp, about a 3-inch knife, and I pulled out a 3.5-inch serrated knife, and him just sawing at this pretty decent size hose that was on the water pump he was trying to get off of this old car. It was dangerous, to be honest, because he had to like really put his shoulder into it and get deep in there, and he's slipping and sliding around. And I was like, man, you should, with 1 or 2 passes, it really just split. Again, it's not an offset saw to take out the most of chunks of material, but it is something that will separate a little bit quicker. But you know, it's just one of those things where if it's fibrous, you know, you want that. But
so it looks like feeding my monkey maker monkey. Man, that's a tough one. The serrated knives are great for fibrous cutting. Like, and that's what you said, right?
Exactly.
A bread knife is serrated, for example, as are steak knives. That makes sense.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's just one of those things. People do overlook it, and it's the unknown. It's people go, well, you know, I don't know, or I heard this about, I heard that about. Exactly. David White, seatbelts and clothes with consent. You know, just...
Yeah, I guess because I have like the Leatherman Raptor scissors and the medical shears, and I think they have some serrations on there as well.
Yeah, essentially they have on shears it's different. We could talk a lot about shears and scissors and what's the difference. Do you happen to know the difference, Cliff, between a scissor and a shear?
No, I don't think I could say that. I hear them used interchangeably, but I know that with the medical ones, I call them shears, but with like normal. Do I have some stuff here? My desk is a little messy right now, but my normal scissors, I call them
pathetic.
Scissors. Yeah, it's a little pathetic, but
come on, man.
What's the difference between scissors and shears?
Spiritually or legally? What are we talking? No, so
spiritually first.
So I worked in this smaller mom and pop knife shop, and when I was coming up, there was still something called the National Independent Cutlery Association, or NICA. NICA, and they had a 300 question test, and a lot of it had to do with straight razors, sears, Bessemer process, the history of steels, Martensite, you know, reading, lots of stuff. So one of the things on there was about the difference between scissors and shears, and this is an older definition now, but a scissor would only be 2 fingers, and a shear would be 3. So if you can think, you know, back to scissors that are designed for about 2 fingers, they're usually smaller, daintier. They're not for heavy-duty tasks. Whereas a shear, coming from the old school, like shearing sheep, those sheep shearers, those big, massive scissors, you need more leverage and pressure. So the average shear these days it's at least 3 fingers. Yeah, and you just have that, because if you don't have your thumb in there and your second finger, if you don't have all 3 of these guys, you can only get so much leverage, and you're less articulate because you have less control overall. So that's just one thing. But that's most shears will have what look like small serrations, and that is simply to hold the fabric, because there's only one sharp or one truly sharp knife edge on a scissor or shear that comes down. So there's the knife edge that's properly sharp on a shear on the top typically, and the bottom has those serrations, and it's kind of just so nothing slips and slides. And when there's pressure from the knife edge, which is hollow ground and slightly curved, when it's coming down, it's so that the fabric doesn't slip off or move around.
Well, I think it sounds like everyone's pretty impressed with your knowledge of scissors and knives and serrations and everything. It looks like American Prepper, you learn something every day.
Yeah.
Now let's see. We have Dan. Wow, now I know the difference between the two.
Right, and it's often overlooked. Sharpening shears is one of the most technical things outside of straight razors. It is very hard to master shear sharpening. You can get an edge on scissors, but it's something that people. It's really, really, really.
I think Taylor's right on that too.
Taylor's my coworker. Me trying to sabotage this whole thing.
Oh yeah, like exactly. He usually gets 9th place. Wow.
Yeah, I'm lying about it. It's
Marty
true.
had a pretty good mustache for a few months. I don't know if he won that particular competition that we're talking about here, but
He couldn't make the payments. He had like 3 left. I mean, I'm not going to speak to service people and learning proper financial education, but he might have skipped that day.
Yeah.
It wasn't for leg day, I'll tell you that. But he skipped it for something else. So his credit was in the dumps, and he had to finance that one. And
Yeah.
that's why he has the excuse of, oh yeah, I'm bearded. It happens to be like that.
Now here's a tough question for you. This is from EDC TV. We have let's see, Mike, is your product better than Maxpedition? That's the big one.
So excellent question, because it really pulls into the background of VanQuest gear. The company was started by the original 2/3 owners and founders of Maxpedition.
Mm-hmm.
So Maxpedition, that was back in 02, 03. And it just turned into something where it was great, because that was the first kind of civilian tactical out there. And it introduced a lot of people to well-made bags, but that weren't just made for military deployments or, law enforcement specific tasks. So I would say that our attention to detail and how much we listen to customers and the market is a little more tuned in overall, but you head to head, because I'm sure there's dozens, hundreds, thousands of Maxpedition products still out there doing great work every day, and they'll hold up. Focus on the product.
VanQuest comes from I think you have the same kind of a bloodline a little bit as far as the evolution of it. So let's see. This is from Danny. This is those mustache makes him so cute. Ha ha, peace.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Sometimes I have to hide part of it and do kind of a Wario thing where
I like it.
I get too much attention.
Yeah, that's it. That might draw the wrong. Well, we have let's see. We've been going for a little bit, and we have someone that's been sitting here in the background. I'm staring at him on the software over here. Let's get this off over here, and we have a prepper agenda is over here. He's been waiting patiently, and there
What's
he goes.
Going on?
What's happening?
You have the strobe light ready to go.
No strobe light. No strobe light.
Dude,
I'm ready.
How are you doing, prepper agenda?
I'm prepared. I coined an acronym called PRIME. So I'm primed right now. Prepared, ready immediately to manage emergencies directly.
Okay.
That's what I'm ready for. I'm ready.
Okay.
I stay ready.
Okay. Well, we're going to be bringing on preparedness.
What's the bag? What's the bag, dude?
What bag is? Yeah, we want to know what bag is that. Is that a Vertex?
This is the Overlander.
The Vertex
Overlander.
Mike, what do you think about that?
No, it's a cool design. It's very familiar. It's a lot like our Ibex 35.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Well, cool. Well, we're going to be bringing on preparedness awareness shortly, but we want to thank Mike from VanQuest for joining on the live stream. This is it went by really quick. You should just be a regular. I think with the mustache and everything, you should probably be just a regular guest, I think.
Yeah, I think if the spirit gum holds up during these live streams.
Maybe one last question. We have Daniel Taylor. When will VanQuest look more at gray man and not so much tactical? I don't think VanQuest looks tactical that much, but.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a perception. I'll cover this quickly. So if your bag has any MOLLE, any Velcro, the initiated or people who even know what MOLLE is or how to use it, they assume that everyone that they come in contact with, even if it's a small amount of MOLLE or Velcro on their bag, will instantly think that it's a military tactical bag. That's kind of your perception. If you're constantly looking at gun memes at work and how you have a HK sticker on your truck and you wear your 511 uniform head to toe, tuck your shirt in and you're high and tight, that's kind of your perception. But a literal answer to that question is 2 weeks, because that's when the Urban series comes out, and You can actually pre-order it now, but it will be dropping. So 2 to 3 weeks. With shipping right now, we're not sure exactly the timeline, but that's what we've been told. It's on the ship, it's on its way, and that is a very normal aesthetic. I wouldn't even say gray man, because a lot of companies just take the standard gray man. I mean, it's their standard bags, making a new fabric and say, hey, it's gray man. But the aesthetic of the bag is much more common that you would see in a city or work or school environment, instead of just what you see.
So you heard it right here on the live stream. Just wait a couple of weeks, there we go.
Yeah, great question.
I'm gonna let you get back to whatever you're shaving with the mustache with the serrated edge knife from Spyderco.
Smart.
Special thanks to Mike from VanQuest for joining in on this live stream. It was a blast.
Good times.
We should just we should do this more often. Maybe we'll get the whole VanQuest crew in, and that'd be once all this everything goes away. Hopefully, maybe we could go into the facilities or something like that. That'd be a blast.
Awesome. Thanks, Cliff.
All right, thanks a bunch, and we'll talk more.
All right.
See
ya.
All right, guys, that was Mike from VanQuest. That was a blast to do. Learned a lot of stuff. Seems like people enjoyed it. Everyone's loving the mustache, it looks like. And now we have a very special guest at the end of this live stream. We got about 30 minutes to go before my wife wants me to get off the computer. But we have none other than Prepper Agenda from Preparedness Awareness. And already the comment section is just blowing up with the outfit that we have here. We have looks like Spider-Man Far From Home. We have from America Prepper. We have, if you don't show up to Wally World looking like that, you're not a prepper.
And this is how I go. This is exactly how I go. Just so you know.
Well, because a lot of people, you might think that this is just for the show. This is we've talked for a long time now, and you even did a live stream on your channel. This is how you go out in on the East Coast, right?
Well, not that I'm worried about it. Just let's keep everything in perspective here.
Yeah.
This is more my Urban Prepper uniform. Yeah. This is my beta test that's going on right now. I'm only using old N95 masks. I haven't broke into my new stash yet.
Yeah.
So, but I believe in being primed. So every day, backpack, every day, EDC bag. Now I'm sporting my personal survivor cap. Sporting that now. So, you have to be prepared, because I'm not worried about coronavirus. I'm worried about, more important things, to be honest with you. So.
Yeah, I mean, for all the guests that we've had a pretty fun show today. We've had Drop Force Survival, we had a Budget Bug Out, we had Mike from VanQuest. With Prepper Awareness, I had some questions planned out with them. With Prepper Awareness, we just kind of go. There's no prepared questions, so we're going to see where this goes over here. So,
well, I like to get into. Here's what I like to get into. I like to get into teaching. Yeah, because a lot of people don't know. I consider Cliff my mentor. So in 2011, when I'm trying to figure out, life in the world and answer all these questions, I kept on coming back to prepping. That's the only thing that made sense to me. Yeah. Conspiracy theories, whatever, ancient aliens, doomsday prepper.
Yeah.
The only thing that made sense was the urban prepper. So awesome. I'm not a gun guy. I'm not a knife guy. I am a urban prepper. And so thanks to you, that's awesome. Here we are now, 9 years later, and nothing in my life has changed at all. Nothing, so I feel really good, and I'm honored to be here. I want to say thank you. It feels awesome to talk to my mentor. Awesome. And, but I love sharing. Who's that?
We got Little Miss Prepper saw this person looks like Spider-Man from another dimension, Spider Prepper, and just had to come see what was going on. You want to say hi?
Hi.
This is Prepper.
How
Agenda.
are you?
I'm good.
What do you think of this? Do you think that's a cool outfit?
Yeah.
You do?
You like it? You like it?
What does he look like?
It looks like Spider-Man.
Says he look like Spider-Man.
Well, if I can't do it right now.
Yeah.
I can't do it. You know, I'm an urban prepper. This is my urban prepper uniform.
I love it. Yeah, I love that on your you talk about yourself as an urban prepper. My channel is called The Urban Prepper. I just picked a name because at the time that I made the channel, there was a lot of other rural type. Everyone's kind of in the woods and using fishing nets, and that's what prepping was about. And so I'm like, well, I live in the city or whatever. I can't. So then I just picked and urban prepper was already taken, and urban prep. So then I went the urban prepper. But I think all of us, there's a lot of urban preppers out there. All of us that are in the city or in even the suburbs.
I think most people are, at the end of the day, most people are probably urban preppers or suburban preppers.
Yeah.
No, a lot of people can't take what we're talking about to that next level. I just want them to get to the everyday carry part. Just get to that level first. And then, it gets infectious. So as time goes along, trust me, you'll get there.
Yeah, I feel that I've always enjoyed talking with you because we're both urban preppers. I have like the name urban prepper. I feel like I'm more of like I think I talked with you about this previously, where I'm like the prepping 101 to help get people into prepping a little bit. And then once they're fully in, then we hand them off to you, and you're full on. You're full on urban prepping, and you're living it.
I live in a world. I love Budget Bug Out. I love him. Great guy. But I live in a world of no excuses. No excuses. You got to go all out. You can spend your money on the Eagles game, the Patriots. I guess now everybody's going to spend their money on Tampa Bay because of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Or you can have N95 masks. I mean, I don't know. Which one would you rather have for your family?
Yeah.
So to me,
is that box of 3M N95 masks worth more than a Tampa Bay ticket right now? What do you think?
Matter of fact, what I think is what I know is worth it. Matter of fact, good question. This box on the street has a street value somewhere between $300 and $1,000.
That's
$1,000. It's crazy. But that's where we're here right now. That's where we're at. So on my Instagram, Prepper Agenda, I took all my followers on a journey with me because back in, I would say, December, I started hearing about the virus.
Yep.
And then in January, I said, okay, this is real. On my other channel called Prepper Routine, I showed up in the gym with the face mask on, literally walking for 5 hours, and this is the middle of January.
Yeah.
People thought I was crazy, but I never wore a mask more than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So I had to see what it was like. I saw all the cameras were coming out. It was ridiculous. Everybody had a camera. Everybody was snapping pictures. I said, and then I had 30 pounds on my back.
Yep.
I had 30 pounds on my back. And it's one of those things where, I believe in the idea of doing prep walks. Like you literally have to prepare. And so here we are.
You did a live stream with one of your prep walks, and you were live streaming. You're talking to people in Puerto Rico, and there was like some older people that were on the street over there, and you're like, "Hey, you guys prepared?" They didn't know what hit them.
Look, I walk it. I literally walk it. I believe in something called, community education or social learning, and that's based on people seeing other people with actions, not words, actions, and literally going out there and doing it, and then sharing that socially with the world. Yeah. And so that's what I did. And so like a lot of people always came to me and said, well, I don't have the money. I'm on a budget and I can't afford to get these preps. So I literally shared with everybody what I was doing. I'm that guy. I'm the price gouger. Okay. I'm the guy. I literally went around and sold thousands and thousands of N95 masks. And I sold it based on whatever the market value was. If the market value was $35 for a whole box, that's what I sold it for. If the market value was $100 for a box, that's what I sold it for. And so I shared that with everybody because I wanted to show them that you can hustle a little bit once you have knowledge. And then you can have that money now to put back into your preps. And so now you and your family are better prepared, because as a prepper, the number one thing is knowledge.
Yeah.
More important than anything else. And so what you get from what I got over the years with the Urban Prepper was this knowledge.
Yep.
And so we all seek and want to share knowledge together, and that's kind of what I'm about.
Yeah, a lot of good comments coming in the comment section.
Let's go.
Feeding them my maker money. Okay, Prepper Agenda just got me as a new fan. Love his energy, feel a kindred spirit there. I remember back a few years ago when everyone was, I invested in silver when it was below $20, and then I don't know, you remember when it went up to $50 or whatever. No one was saying this kind of stuff about, oh, you're profiting off of, I used the money. I sold it around 50, and so I used that money to go back into the preps. And
look, when it comes to this concept of price gouging, to me, it's all fake news. At the time, if people can recall, the propaganda was math don't work. So when I heard math don't work for an urban prepper, that means go out and buy math. Oh my God, I gotta get more math. I need math. Oh my God, math don't work. I need more math. And I literally just went and bought more and more and more, because I knew that was propaganda, because logically it doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, every hospital that I've ever been to in my entire life, they're wearing masks, and then they're going to tell me that the masks don't work.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, thank you, because that literally stopped everybody from buying masks. So I had masks. So I was like, thank you. Thank you very much.
We have Kristen in the comments section. Kristen Nicole, I followed Prepper Agenda a while ago, and he hasn't been wrong yet.
There you go. There you go. I live in a world of common sense, and so.
One of the things you talked about, I really liked, is that you talked about how, hey, you're not into politics. You don't care what someone's politics are. For you, it comes down to prepping. Are you prepping? Are you prepper? That's all about. I don't really care what your politics or religion or anything is. I think that's a really cool philosophy that you have.
Well, at the end of the day, I think we all want to be better. At the end of the day, we all want to be better. We want to protect ourselves. We want to protect our families. Nobody's trying to be heroes here, but we have to be realistic. We have to work on a budget. We have to do things. We have to be honest with ourselves. And we're going to have to sacrifice. If you want to be an urban prepper, it costs a lot of money. Let's just keep it real. This costs a lot of money and a lot of time. And so you're going to have to find ways to make some extra money, a little bit of hustle. You're going to have to pull back on nonsense, that things that don't matter. And what a lot of people don't really know about me, I pulled away from prepping last year. I went to my prepper routine, which had to do with health, fitness. And so when it came out, and like they're saying today, zinc. I've been on zinc. I've been on zinc for almost a year now. Nice. I'm not worried about anything. I've been taking all the supplements that I need, because I believe that I am a 360 prepper, meaning I cover it all. Not just one thing, not just the knives, which I really care less about. I'll just keep it real. But not my thing. But I did learn something. I appreciate that. I didn't know. I learned something.
When I talk knives on that too,
Yeah, but I'm more into just having general prepper preparedness knowledge and doing it in a way where it's part of the community. So everybody can see that I'm building a site right now. So what I did was, just so we understand, it wasn't price gouging to price gouge. It was price gouging because I finally wanted to get to that next level in sharing my knowledge with other people and pull together a community of people that we can share together. We all work together and share. And when you use social media, it's like you end up going down a rabbit hole. It's not strict. It's not focused. And so what preparedness awareness is, it's a community based on social learning, based on community education. It only works if everybody participates. It's not about me and what I think. It's about we all share together. And then if we want to get into side things like bushcrafting, New World Order, some crazy news, those are going to be groups that you sign up for. The main purpose is just general urban preparedness. And so I'm going to do a contest. I just want to tell everybody, if This is for Cliff and for all you guys. Now, Cliff, tell him about this. You know about this.
Let's see. Okay. Yes, there was a little blurry on that. Yeah. So these are. Well, first off, I don't think people know how influential you are behind the scenes and what some of the stuff that comes out on the YouTube videos. Probably 2 years ago, I know we're going to talk about the gloves in a second. They're awesome duty level Kevlar line gloves, the leather. They're awesome, and I have he's cost me a lot of money on this, but Prepper a few years back, before I was covering gas mask or anything, he's like, "Hey, you got to check out this is the gas mask to get, the SGE 403." And I'm like, "Oh." And you like raved about it, and so I did a video on it, and then like we start seeing some other people start taking a look at that one, and then a year later I talked with Mirror Safety. And that all started with you, and that's just one example. You're constant. I found that, like someone mentioned in the comment section, that you're spitting facts a lot. I mean, of course, you have a different look and style than I do as far as how you present it. But everything that you're saying, it's like solid. And then what you were just showing over there were those the Kevlar line gloves. They're leather. They're duty gloves.
They're awesome.
They're awesome. They're in my EDC bags. They're in my bug out bags. They cost around, I don't know, you get $30 to $40 maybe.
Well, they're free now. To one person, obviously a male. So anybody who goes to, you have to put the www dot in front of preparedness awareness. It's brand new, people. Don't give me a hard time. Okay, it's not done yet by far, but it's an early beta version. But for today only, anybody who signs up today only because of seeing me here on Cliff's channel, I'm going to give out, the males are going to get the gloves.
What?
Females are going to get, let's see. There we go.
There we go. Is that Saber?
It's not Saber, it's Rescue Me.
Okay, cool.
It's Rescue Me, and it's Mace, which is something literally I believe in. I believe in EDC. I don't care if you're a man or a female, you have to carry Mace. And this is how I do it, right? So this is on my EDC keychain. Now check this out. I just go like this. What? Oh. What? Bam! Yep. Bam! And I keep it connected with a magnet.
I love it.
So that way it's
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that way it's primed. See, I believe in prepared, ready, immediately to handle emergencies directly. I'm not waiting on calling the police. Oh my God, can you save me? Help me! No. By the time all that happens, you've been injured. Things got worse for you. All you gotta do is pull this out, and bam, you're ready.
Yeah,
that's why my name is Frederick Reddy, by the way. Just so everybody knows.
So if they go to www.preparednessawareness.com right now, they're going to get some awesome swag. It's not like, this isn't little rinky-dink stuff. This is and right now I'm giving these away. Don't do it. That's too much.
I'm giving these away.
That's Tampa Bay Buccaneer tickets right there.
I'm giving these away this way because literally I got blessed. Knowledge is a blessing. When you get discernment, it's a blessing, and you have to not be greedy. You have to give back. I've given back. Well, I think now around 120 masks I've given out to my neighbors, to families, members, and now I'm going to give out to you guys as well. I'm doing a contest. It's going to last to the end of the month, so that's not just for you guys. It's for everybody. But invite your friends. It's part of my ambassador program, which you'll see when you join. So it's again, I don't want to talk too much about that. I'd rather answer some questions, but we'll continue conversations afterwards in preparedness awareness when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, let's so everyone's so far in the comment section, what I'm seeing, everyone's loving this. This is okay, we got Kevin Good just signed up already, so he's already entered in the contest.
Word.
Leave your comments in the chat room right now. We're going to have preparedness awareness prepper agenda. He's known by many names. We'll be answering them right for you. So let's see. We have folks from Indonesia.
And let me show you a couple things. What I have on me, right? So right here.
Yeah. Got the hand sanitizer right there.
We got the hand sanitizer at the ready. That's at the ready. Okay. Over here, what is this? Anybody know? Anybody know?
Let's see. Uh-oh.
All right.
There we go.
Okay.
Biohazard bags.
So the reason why I carry this is when I'm going to open up doors, I'm not messing up my gloves. When I have to pump the gas, I'm not messing up my gloves. I'm not going to constantly be using my hand sanitizer when I could just use this real quick. Use that, bam. And then just discard it. Okay, bam, boom, done. So I carry that. This right here is that's a Sabre alarm. Obviously, I'm not going to pull it right now. But if I got myself in a situation, I hit the alarm first. That will throw somebody off, and then bam, bam, and I'm at the ready.
Yeah.
So.
Now this is again, like I said, I'm kind of the 101 course for these. You're taking it next level. This is graduate level. You're getting your doctor's program. I don't have a magnetic quick release but maybe I need to. But I love the little bags because those gloves, those are valuable now. But the doggy bags, I mean,
that's right.
I'm not as quick on it as you are, but I mean, I have my doggy bags ready to go too, but just not as quick as what you have it. You're EDCing doggy bags.
I EDC doggy bags. Yeah. With no dog.
I have the biodegradable ones. I'm not sure if yours are biodegradable or not, but
it's black. Mine's black. I had to go with black.
Well, this is your branding, because you have like I have for my branding, I have my hat and my glasses and kind of the beard, and with your brand, this is the look. This is the Frederick look that you have, as far as, and that's how you roll.
That's how I roll. I don't believe in the whole gray man theory. I'm not a gray man theory guy. I'm in your face, part the ways. Here I come. Let me get through. I don't got time to be talking to nobody. I gotta get going. Yeah. And then at nighttime, I live in the city. I'm an urban prepper. I don't want to be seen. This is my camo.
Yeah, love it. Well, let's see. We have some I've seen stuff going in the chat room. People are kind of shouting out where they. Let's see.
Thoughts on pet antibiotics?
Yeah, Carrie likes to eat doggy bags. That's good. What are your thoughts on pet antibiotics? Do you have any thoughts on this?
Get some. That's the thought. Go ahead and get some. I'm good with that. But I do want to answer a question. You asked, I forget the gentleman's name, the first guest. You said, what would be the next prep you think is going to
that was a good question.
Be hard to get? And I love that question.
Yep.
And this is going to be classic Frederick Reddy, because I'm going to tell you now, so you've got plenty of time to get it, okay? And not only that, you can make money from it, all right? It's going to be mosquito repellent.
Yeah,
telling you that right now. It's going to be mosquito repellent, and I'll tell you which brand to get. That's Sawyer, the lotion. Get this. You can go from a 4 ounce down to their packet size, and you can put it on eBay now. Mm-hmm. But I guarantee you, I know how mainstream media is. They're going to start scaring everybody to death because of mosquitoes, because that's connected with Bill Gates, and I can hear it right now. Yeah. So you heard it here first, right here on the Urban Prepper channel. Go ahead and get your mosquito repellent. I'm not going crazy with it because, again, I mean, that takes us off the conversation, so I'm not worried about it. But that's probably going to be the next one to go.
Awesome. Let's see, trying to go. Sorry, going.
All right, let's see. Let's see what other questions.
What is this one? How about a contest joiner that will be coming from Philippines? Can I? The Philippines? That's a long way away. I don't know.
No, only in America. I'm not. No.
Yeah, sometimes.
But you can sign up though.
Yeah, I do a lot of giveaways, and sometimes because I always want to be fair, because I figure I have there's an international audience, and sometimes I'm giving away something, and then that person like in Antarctica or something and ship. Oh, it's like $200 to ship you.
Exactly. I'm giving out free stuff, and I'm like, how did I just get a $49 bill? How did this happen?
Yeah, on the live stream, like I did a couple giveaways. I did one for the book, for the Cascadia Fallen book. I had 2 of those, and I'm like, oh, I'm giving them away. And then I think Dutch bike blogger, he's like, I think he's in the Netherlands, and then he's in like some other country. I said, $100 on a free.
I know, but it's who we are. We do it.
What was there's a comment here. What was the name of the repellent? The Sawyer, is that like the water filter one?
Yeah, it's the same company that makes the water filters. I can't think of they have 2 product lines. They have a lotion and they have a kind of mosquito repellent where you wash your clothes, put them on a clothesline, and then spray. And it's good for about 10 washes, 6 to 10 washes. So I will be doing that. For sure, 100% for sure, I'll do that. But I don't think it's going to be a worry, by the way. But the question is, what do you think the 90%ers are going to think is going to be a worry? And I think they're going to go out and buy it all. So,
all right, let's see. We have some people shipping to Canada. This is from American Prepper. Have you ever been pepper sprayed?
I actually have. I actually have. Back in the day, at college, I got involved in a little 1-2. You got to stand up.
Yeah.
Can't be a punk. And the police did the right thing, and they just pepper sprayed everybody. That way, nobody really got hurt. So it's not a good feeling. It wasn't fun.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, I've been pepper sprayed with protective equipment. It looks like a Dutch bike blogger, and I think Philip from Zimmerman. Don't worry about it. That's part of doing business on YouTube. So that's just sometimes that's how the dice rolls for the shipping. So
whatever.
But they are in the mail, and I think they both have the shipping, the tracking for that. So no worries on that. But I haven't been shipping the survival cheat sheets because just for that reason, because it's expensive.
It does get expensive. It just is what it is.
Let's see. What do we have? We have. What are your thoughts on wearing concealed bulletproof every day in this hard time? Well, before you answer that, you in the beginning you were talking about how you said, Cliff's been my mentor for 2011, and then like a couple months ago, this is before all the Corona stuff happened. You're like, hey, you saw the shooting that happened in Seattle, and you're like, hey, if you're a prepper out there and you're not, if you don't have at least a shield in your backpack, you're not a prepper. I'm like, it's okay, he's talking to me. So then I'm like, all right, I got to step up my game, prepper. So I went and got a Veritech backpack, and I got the Premier body armor and stuff, and that was because you. So I imagine that's your thoughts. What are your thoughts though?
Absolutely. I mean, and I hate to say things from a point of you're not a prepper. Of course you're still a prepper, and that's me being a little hyperbolic. But but no, I believe in it. I believe in that anything that you know of, any disaster that you're aware of, you should find solutions on how to prepare for it. So we're all familiar with active shooter events. So what's your active shooter event plan, agenda? What's that agenda? So it starts for me, if you're at work, again, let me just pass you some knowledge. You're at work, you have an office, you pull out your mace, you go down the hall, you spray it in the hall. That mace is going to stay in the air for about 1 or 2 minutes. That active shooter is going to hit that mace and say, you know what, I'm going to go down the other hall. You'll be survived. Now your coworkers might die. I'm just keeping it real. But you will survive because you don't want to get hit with that mace wall.
Get me for sure now. They're all now prepper agendas on the Urban Prepper's channel.
But like, of course, my backpack, I got a ballistic panel. I got 3 bags. One of the biggest active shooter events that really affected me was when I lived in Pittsburgh. A guy at the gym, he goes into the LA Fitness and literally just shoots up, the whole place. I think he hit 12 people and killed 4. I mean, I saw that event. I was like, you're helpless at a gym. You're not, you don't have no sidearm. You don't have nothing when you're at a gym. Well, they don't. They don't have nothing when they're at a gym.
Again, this is your next level. Your next level.
I mean, I'm on another level, so you know what I'm saying. I take it up a little higher than most, but you get my point. So it's yeah, I would now if she's talking about or he or she's talking about clothing. I'm actually looking into that. I do believe in it. So if you have that kind of budget, I would definitely go for it. Now, would I wear it right now? Absolutely not. That's absolutely ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? I would not be. I mean, I would wear it on a prep walk just to test it out, but I wouldn't walk around wearing it. But yeah, I do believe in that. I do think everybody should have that. I think people should have an armored suit, basically.
Yeah. During, on Black Friday back in November, they had a sale on some for like concealed. So I do have some.
Nice.
Concealed one. I don't know if it's normally on my channel, but
nice.
Sale, I had to get it. But I don't know if I'll be doing a video.
Well, you got 5 years. After 5 years, that's target practice.
Yeah.
But
I think we have time for a couple more questions. I'm not sure if Bionic Madness is still in the chat room or not. He has a similar outfit to you. I think he was looking at joining possibly, but
we have something called Share a Pick over at preparednessawareness.com, www.preparednessawareness.com. There's a topic called Share a Pick. So anybody who has something crazy on, who dresses like me, share a pic, please. Share a pic.
Let's see. So it looks like we have Mandy over here.
Illegal.
Oh,
that's
man.
terrible. That's got your people are neutered, by the way. Just so you know, Mandy, come to America and meet some real men. You live in a country of neutered men. No offense. just telling you. Just saying, Mandy. I'm just saying. If you're single, come to America. We got your back.
All right. So I think a Bionic Madness is he has a similar style. I think we're going to have him call in too. He's been running the comment section over here, keeping everything under control. So far, right. I've been watching the comments, and it seems to be okay so far. No one's gotten to. Last week we had all sorts of people on there, but so let's see. A Bionic Madness, if you want to call in and talk to Prepper Preparedness Awareness, you're welcome to. I think I just sent you the link. So let's see. Let's take a couple more questions over here, and then my mouth is getting dry. It's been 2 hours now going. So while we're waiting, where can people find you? They can find you Preparedness Awareness. They can find you on Instagram. I heard someone. Do you have a YouTube channel? Because I think
no, I'm done with my YouTube channel. No, don't even bother going on that. And I'll be done with Instagram soon too. I'm done with it because I'll give you another prediction. Okay, so if you would describe what's going on right now to somebody last year, they would say you're out of your mind. Yeah. They would say it would never happen in a million years. I'm telling you right now, social media is going to go dark. They've been promoting it for years now. Just do a Google search, internet's down or social media down. And anytime they do a drum beat over and over and over, masks don't work, or the internet is crashing. It's going to crash, okay? It's predictive programming. So it's going to crash, but preparednessawareness.com will be up and running. We have an app, so it's perfect. It's no different than any other social platform. And so we'll still be in contact with each other. So yeah, I'll still use social media, and I really mean use. I'm just going to use it, but I'm not going to use it. If you understand what I'm saying, I'm done. I'm done. Another thing that's going to come down the road for me is I'm going to be doing something called prepinars. So we have seminars, we have webinars. So we have something now called prepinars. So I own that domain name, and I'm going to be doing just me, one-man show, just answering questions, making people feel comfortable. I might not have all this on yet. I haven't decided, because I really want to bring.
Are you going to go full? Are you going to wear a suit? I don't think I've ever seen you not in this outfit. So I'm just
no, I'm not wearing a suit. No suits. But I might show my face. I haven't decided yet. Some of the ladies have been asking me. So,
okay.
Well,
I think anytime that you're on the show, you got to wear your brand, which is this is the brand. So
absolutely.
Yeah, that's I think it, I don't think
Preppinors with 2 P's. She Carrie over there. She spelled it almost right, just with a second P.
Okay, get the second P in there. I saw some people were having problems with the site. They said they were taking it down probably because of this live stream. They're like, oh no, Prepper Agenda's on.
No, you mean with YouTube?
I don't know. I saw a comment in there saying someone was questioning it. It looks like we almost have Bionic Madness ready to go. I think he's been inspired by what he's seen from you so far, and he's been monitoring the comment section already. Bionic Madness, are you? Let's see. I'm going to give him a couple more seconds. I see some movement going on over there, but let's see who else is talking, and then I'm going to have to wrap it up because I got to do some family stuff. So.
Yeah, us single guys, we got nothing but time on our hands.
When's the next live stream? Because that was one of the funnest live streams I've been in. Because you were wearing you had your look, you had your PC, and you're walking around testing out the mask, and you're talking to people on the streets. When's the next one? We have to tune in.
I actually really enjoyed that myself. I do my prep walks all the time. I usually, I got to get at least 3 to 5 miles in all the time. 30 pounds, 20 pounds on the back, minimum 20 up to 30. So I don't know. I'll do another one probably maybe on Sunday night, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, we'll keep us posted. So everyone, make sure you tune in to Preparedness Awareness Prepper Agenda. He has a few different things. Primed. You got all sorts of names.
I got all kinds of brand names. It's a little ridiculous, to be honest with you.
Let's see. We have Bionic Madness has been in the chat room for the past 2 hours now, holding down the fort. Let's see if we can bring him into the stream. There we go. It looks like I don't know if you can see that.
Can you hear me?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's awesome.
And
I love it.
Look, we got Vanquest.
There you go.
There we got.
This is like we have ads. We have I see the cheat sheet. I see VanQuest and Bionic Madness. How's the chat room been going? And we have the skull face stance. Look at that.
What was that?
I feel like I'm underdressed for this meetup.
You are underdressed.
Hold on.
There you go. Come on. Come on, Cliff. Get prepared.
You know what? You need to have that exit music.
Yeah.
With the it's a prepping.
I'm still trying to figure out how to get the music working with the live stream.
Hold on. Are we talking about this? Is this what we're talking about? Days, prep days, go your way. By the way, this is what I wake up to every morning. There you go.
Oh, your ringtone. All right, so I got the proper attire on, at least something closer.
There you go. I love it. Yep. I love it.
N95 mask underneath.
Exactly.
I have a shot towel underneath it. So.
Always that 95 mask. That was a good question I was asked earlier. Again, there's nothing we can do now, people. Just wear whatever you can wear, bandana, whatever you can wear. But for the future, moving forward, get yourself a N95 mask. It's ridiculous not to have it. And if it's good enough for first responders because their lives matter, well, does your life matter? Does your life have value, or are you just a human resource? Which one is it? I mean, if you're just a human resource, then go ahead and just rock bandanas all day long. But if you're a mother, a father, your husband, you gotta take care of people, this is what you get. So head over to preparednessawareness.com. Hopefully one of you guys can win. I'm giving out that box of 10. I got plenty. And here's my strategy behind this, Cliff. I didn't tell you this.
What is it?
I believe because for viruses only, I believe in the disposable mask. I don't believe in the big respirators because you have to get to the point where you're going to have to worry about cleaning it. And that to me is like a whole job in itself as well. Yep. And you know how one of your videos where decontamination room and everything like that.
Yep.
I didn't want to have to deal with that. So I would rather have, 100, 200 disposable N95 masks that could be worn up to 40 hours or 30 days. A lot of people don't know that. Stored in a paper bag, not a plastic bag.
Yep.
And if you get the foam soap, which I've just ordered one, but they have a called home soap, you could just throw it in there and the UV light will hit it and you're good to go. You won't have anything to worry about. So I just have a little different philosophy when it comes to pandemics and viruses. I don't necessarily believe in, the big respirator. It's just too much of a hassle.
Well, anyone that's just tuning into the live stream right now doesn't know what hit them.
I know.
Oh my God.
It just got crazy.
Yeah, but we have David White. People tuning in right now are probably like, OMG.
And hey, everybody, there's a partner of mine called 0 Hour Supply. He has what you call the ready mask that goes over with the adhesive tape. He still has some for sale. Those, I have 6 of them that I had to pay. I had to pay for it. It wasn't free or nothing like that. I paid full price for them, and I keep them. They can be folded, and I keep them in each one of my kits because it's always smart to have a backup to a backup. You know what I mean? Like 1 is none, 2 is 1, 3 is me. Okay, I gotta have 3. A good example of that is, so I got the pull out right here. I carry one on my keychain as well.
Look at that.
I mean, it's always good to have backups, especially when they're inexpensive. Now, if it's, you can't have like 5 Kevlar vests. I mean, that's ridiculous, okay? So you're going to have to figure that out. But something that costs $10, there's really no excuse. No excuse. It is what it is. Yeah,
I think you're right. Let's, well, man, it's hard to talk with the mask on a stream like this. Okay.
You can do it.
Oh, man.
Hey, you know who else I want to give a shout out to, and I wish he was watching, is Canadian Prepper.
Yeah.
He has been just as a big influence in me as you have been. His influence for me really kicked in when he was doing his fitness stuff.
Yeah, that was cool.
That is what resonated with me, health. And now look what's going on right now. This basic, disease this virus is really attacking unhealthy people. So I want to give him a lot of credit because that turned into my prepper routine because of him. I love Canadian Prepper. Yeah, that's my boy.
I'm trying to get him on as a guest on that. I know he's super busy because his videos are really blowing up right now, and the store is going really well. And
he deserves it. He deserves it.
When you get him. When you get Canadian Prepper, make sure he brings All-American Prepper with him.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have All-American Prepper, to be honest. But I'll take Canadian Prepper if he's willing to join. But I think that would be a blast. So hopefully we could make that happen. Anyone that's out there still watching, drop a Canadian Prepper line and say, "Hey, you come on TUP's live stream." It'd be a lot of fun to do. So
exactly, that's my man.
My wife is texting as we're talking live. She's like, "All right, what are we going?" So I think it's again special thanks.
Madness, nice to meet you, buddy. Nice to meet you.
We'll talk soon.
Absolutely.
All right, special thanks to Brian McManus for running the comment section for the past couple hours.
Hold on, I'm going to change out into something, Cliff.
Uh-oh.
Give me a second.
Okay. All right, let me go full screen really quick.
You got to see this, buddy. You got to see it.
Okay. So we're going to be doing these live streams weekly. Everyone's sheltering in place. They're probably getting a little stir crazy, and hopefully this helps light the mood with a lot of familiar faces that you know. Again, very special thanks to Brian McManus for everything that he does behind the scenes to make these kind of things happen. Oh, look at that! You got to go full screen on it.
There we go. This is what gives me my strength. People don't understand. This is where the strength comes from. This is where the power comes from.
The color up front. I haven't seen that on anyone else but myself. That's so cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Trust me, this is what inspires me. I'm at the gym. I'm wearing it. I'm lifted. I'm wearing it. I'm feeling like, what is that shirt you're wearing? I said it's the color of prepping. It's the color of prepping. It gives me the power. People don't understand it. They just don't understand it.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm lifting up cars here, Cliff. I'm lifting cars up.
Yeah,
they don't understand how I get this strength.
Yeah, that's like Hulkamania type strength right there. All right, we love the shirt, by the way. All right, guys, so I hope everyone enjoyed watching this live stream. This one was a blast. It went by so quick. Again, Prepper, I knew with Prepper Agenda, we'd have to have them last because it's hard to really follow up with I don't know where we'd go from here, but this has been a fun one. So, and again, special thanks to for everyone being participating in the chat room. I've been using new software. I hope that you guys like it. I've been able to bring in a lot of your comments, which is pretty cool. And it's been pretty seamless on bringing in multiple guests. So I think Bernie, Bionic Madness and
Fine.
Can I call you first name? Is that
You can. It's all good.
All right. Well, Bionic Madness and I, we've been talking about doing like a prepper roundtable. And with this particular software, I'm able to bring in 6 people simultaneous. Right now, we've just done 3. At one point, we had 4, but I think we're going to be able to do this more. So stay tuned for next week. I'm putting together the show for next week. Right now, we have Ben Banters, the knife guy. Everyone knows Ben, right? I know that Prepper Agenda is not as into the knife details, but that's okay. We have Gideon Tactical. It's going to be coming up. We have Late Boy Scout. Who else am I working on? I think Everyday Tactical Vids. So we have a lot of the people that you watch here on YouTube and on other channels and on Instagram and stuff going to be joining in. I think we're all kind of like bouncing around and talking with other like-minded preppers, and that's what this is all about. Hopefully this live stream has been fun for everyone, and it helps give a little break from a lot of the doom and gloom that we see on the news and see online and stuff, which would be a little scary. So hopefully Skullface, Bionic Madness, and Agenda helps lighten the mood a little bit over there. He's doing American Sign Language right now. So, so if you guys have any requests for other channels that you would like to see featured on here, please leave a comment. Leave it on the chat room. Leave it in the comment of this video, or you can send it directly to me. Hey, everyone I think wants to see Canadian Prepper or All American Prepper would be preferred. But we're also doing I have some other ones that are in the works. I don't want to spoil the surprise now, but I think we're going to have some fun guests over here. So again, smash that like button if you've enjoyed this. If you enjoyed the live stream. I never say that on any other videos, but also subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to go over to preparednessawareness.com and sign up for that. Check out Bionic Madness, has different stuff going on, all the different channels. I have their links in the description box. Dropboard Survival, Budget Bug Out, VanQuest. This has been a lot of fun. So thanks everyone for participating in it. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this live stream of TUP Talks. We'll see you next Saturday for another live stream. All right, guys, take care.
All right, see ya.
Later. Always be primed.
There we go.
That was awesome.